And we are back. Back like we never left. We are back then. Now it should be good. So just give me a moment for my people to come back. Then we can get started. Sony, hi, how are you? Let me check if now I can see him. Yeah, now I can see him. Even though the topics that we talk about are not adult themed, which is something that I'll remove because it tends to, the live doesn't go to so many people. So that's why. 1 second. Guys, come back. Come back, guys. Miss Kivani, welcome back.
Yeah, I saw it. I've nudged him, yeah. Welcome, bro.
What's up?
I'm good, bro. Are you good?
Good.
Did you have it
Just
on,
give me...
didn't you have your settings on our routine?
Yeah. The over 18 thing is the one that wasn't on my end.
Yeah, I couldn't find you. I thought you were talking.
Because I could
Sorry.
see you, but I couldn't request you because it was saying viewers not matched. That's what it was saying.
That's what I thought when I tried to invite you, and
Yeah.
I just told something to come in.
It's okay. It's cool.
It's a bit short notice for me, so I don't know how it's going to go. But anything helps.
Enigma, welcome. We're about to start a match, Enigma. So
Yeah.
usitume kwanza.
You okay anyway?
Yeah, we can start.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just put my phone on the stove.
Let us go.
Good luck. Welcome, everybody.
Cool. Let's do this.
Thank you, Scott.
Mutume gifts. Send gifts, people. Send gifts. As you can see.
Hold on a sec, Scott.
As you can see. Send gifts. Enigma, thank you for those likes.
Thank you.
Send gifts, guys. The first gift that you send will get ×2. Let's send some gifts ×2. The first gift that you send will be ×2, people. Let's go. Nancy, welcome. Sony, thank you for those likes. Let's send gifts, guys, to Konyuma Sana. To Konyuma, we are behind. Hi, Miss Mina, welcome. We need to win this. We need to win this. Hi, Jesse, how are you? Welcome. Thank you, Miss Kimani. Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome.
Let's go. Now you guys need to save me. You need to save me because I've been frozen. You need to save me. Hi, Kerubo. How are you? You guys need to save me.
Everybody, if you got your gloves on that, throw your gloves.
You need to save me. Okay. Let's go, people. Like on the stream. Make sure to like, guys. Thank you for the donut. Woo woo. Let's go. So we need 2 people to gift. 2 people to gift. Okay. Let's go, Miss Kimani. That's 1 person. The second person, let's go. Someone else. A second person to gift. Let's go, guys. Let's go, my people. Where are you, my people? We need a second person to gift so that we can activate the speed challenge. Someone send a rose. We have 18 seconds to go. Someone send a rose. Someone else to send a rose. Josie, welcome. There we go. Thank you, Sony. Aya, sasa tunasubiri. Aya, let's go now. Now is the time to send gifts. Every gift that you send, it will be ×2. Every gift that you send will be ×2 in points. We need to win this. We have 2.5 minutes. Let's go, guys. Let's go, my people. Let's go. Twendeni, twezishindwa hivi. D, let's go. There we go, Sony. Thank you very much. Let's go. Hey, Sony with the finger hearts. Let's go. Woo woo. Miss Kimani, thank you so much. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. We can win this. We have 20 seconds to go. Let's go, guys. Everything you do, times two. Times two. Whatever you do. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Whatever you do, it will be times two. Times two. Daddy, thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Sony. Thank you, Miss Kimani. Thank you very much. Let's go, guys. Nancy, thank you for those likes. Asanteni sana. Let's now beat them. Let's beat them. They're at 17. Let's beat them. Mutu atume train. Mutu atume Leon Kite. Let's go, guys. We can do this. Mute, welcome. Welcome very much. Karibu sana. Welcome to the stream. I need people to save me from being frozen. Someone save me from being frozen. Geteni, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Let's go. We have 1 minute to go. 1 minute to go. Ingia kwa M-Pesa, recharge haraka, Rudy. Let's do this. Julie, welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 guys. Miss Kimani, umerudi. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Let's win this. Vincent Executive, welcome to the stream. Like the stream, send gifts. We need to get out of here, guys. Hi, V, welcome.
How long is left? 29 minutes. Thank you.
Mary Aren, hi, how are you? Trevon, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Good to have you all here. Welcome, 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 welcome. Archie, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to have you here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Enigma, 1 second. Oh, hey. Nice.
Nice one, bro.
Cool, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, thanks. Oh, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Look what happened to us.
Thank you.
Cool, cool.
I don't think it's been there that long.
Okay.
Yeah, one nice one.
Cool. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you for the comments.
There we go, my people. Watu wote ambao wamegift. Thank you very much. Miss Kimani. There was someone else. Oh my goodness. Nancy, thank you so much for those gifts. Enigma, thank you for the gifts. Sony, thank you for the gifts. Asanteni sana. Mubarikiwe sana sana. Thank you very much. Nashukuru sana. Thank you very much. Now, we can get into the topic of the day. Sindio? Hiyo imeisha hiyo. Hiyo imepita sasa. Yaliyopita si ndwele. Asienwa, hi, how are you? Welcome. Yaliyopita si ndwele. And the way we had so many people the first time, we were G17. Hungu, welcome, welcome to the stream. Let's like the stream, guys, so that more people come in. Thank you so much, everyone who has gifted. I am grateful for your gifts. They are not in vain. I'm very grateful for those gifts that you've given. There's someone who had asked a question in the previous live. I'm not sure if they are still here. I have not forgotten the question, so I'm just hoping that they are still here. So if you're here, I don't know. Natalie, hi, how are you? Enigma, welcome back. Enigma, tumepitwa na match hapa bana. Salio naingia tu tuko 2 seconds. Makowino, hi, how are you? Koro. Gloria, Samak, welcome. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream, my people. Karibuni sana, karibuni sana. Let's do this. Let's put this guy as a co-host. Enigma. Sasa the thing we need to do for you, you need to recharge. Ikange tu iko hapo tu, ikingoja ile siku yenye nitaenda live, nitaenda match. We had another match on Monday, which we were able to win. Thank you so much. Hey, my headphones. Ukijua hizo my headphones, those were the headphones I used to wear just after I left campus. Tulikuwa headphones big hivi. I'll look for that photo. I know there's a photo I took nikiwa nimeketia railway. Headphones big hivi. And we thought we had reached the top of the world. Thank you so much. Guys, make sure to place your comments, your questions. Let's have a discussion here. We can do this. Yeah? Diali, hi, how are you? Welcome. So, there's someone who had asked how we have been able to navigate for me as a spouse to get a job in the US. And I was explaining that before we had to go off and change some setting and then come back. So this is my response. And I'm hoping that that person will see this or they are still here. When you're still in Kenya, of course, the nurse is getting a job already. And they already know this is where they're going to work, this is how much they're going to earn, things like that. The other person, usually the husband, because most nurses that we have, usually it's a wife who's a nurse. There are some families, of course, where the husband is a nurse, but most of the people who are coming here, the lady is the one who's a nurse. The guy is doing something else. In our case, that was one of the things that we were thinking about, because when I was in Kenya, of course, I was running a business, and that business, in my estimation, it was doing okay, right? I had clients, I had things already, I had networks, created all those things, and I was bringing money home, right? But at the same time, I also have this second career, which is my content creation and other creative things that I'm doing, which are not making as much money as the photography that I was doing, but it's still bringing money. So I had those two things in my case. And the next thing is the consideration of, so what do we do, especially about the children? Because in Kenya, this is normal. You have a house manager who typically that's the work that they're doing. Here, so in Kenya, that allows you that you both can be working during the day, because they're the person who's taking the kids to be picked by the school bus. They're the ones who will pick them. They will be with the children the whole time that the parents are not around until when the parents come from work. And usually that would be 8 p.m., 9 p.m., sometimes even 10 p.m., some days, depending on how work is. So your kids are taken care of by someone else. When you come here, you still have the same children. They have to be taken care of by an adult. If it's not going to be the two of you, it has to be someone else. Okay? So in my case, because I have already left this business that I used to do, I need to figure out a way, how can I be able to still earn money, and at the same time, I am able to do some of the roles that our house manager used to do, which is taking care of the children, because that's the major thing. All the other things, like washing, cleaning the house, laundry, all those things are not as significant as they used to be in Kenya, because here, your houses come with a washer and dryer. At least the apartments that we stay in, they come with a washer and dryer. So I can just throw things in the washer. Once they are done, I move them to the dryer. It's not actual work, right? The way in Kenya, it is manual work to do. So that is something that I can put, and I close out. Like even now, That's what's going on. So that's not a big problem. The problem is if you have a child who is in elementary, especially from 3rd grade going down, okay? You have to be there. Okay, truly by law, it's 1st grade going down for them to go at the stage. You cannot tell a child to leave the house and go to the bus stop if they are 1st grade. That's 7 years, that's 6 years. That doesn't happen here. But when they get to 2nd grade, they can actually be dropped off by the driver and they can walk on their own. Like the driver can just allow them because it's just at the start of the compound. It's just that it is much safer for you to go pick your child. So I know in the morning, I have to take them there and we just walk. It's like 5 minutes walk. Then in the afternoon at around 2:20, I leave the house again, go pick them. They come back to the house, they freshen up, nini. The older one is able to do that on her own. So in the morning she goes, because she's in 6th, she goes and she comes back, okay? So if you didn't have you doing it, you need someone to do it. And that person, you cannot pay them the same way you are paying a house manager in Kenya. Here, someone is earning $15 to almost $20 an hour to do daycare because it is an extremely important job, okay? So, and this typically isn't even an old person or older person. This is usually someone who is in high school, okay? So imagine you have your job where you're earning $50, $60, and then you have someone doing daycare who's earning $20, you have to pay them. So imagine almost half of your salary going to someone doing daycare. It does not make sense to do it, especially for people like us who you're coming trying to stabilize in the country. It doesn't make sense for you to pay someone to look after your children for 2-3 hours every single day. It's a lot of money. So we made the decision of let me work on growing this career that does not require me to work in an office, because I have been doing it, yes, in Kenya, but I wasn't making a lot of money. If I can do it seriously here, it can actually build and become something greater, okay? So that's precisely what we are doing. That's a reason why even this account exists, because it's an account that I made while in the US, so it's a US TikTok account. It has no issues. This main one that most of you came from, this one has a lot of work that it needs, because right now, for the past 2 weeks, I've been talking to TikTok support to enable me change the region from Kenya to the US. Because if I'm able to do that, then all the videos that I do there, I can start making money if the videos are watched by people in the US. And when that happens, you will also start seeing the change for the kind of content that I do, in terms of it will move a little more into US related content, okay? But for now, that is still going on because I want that profile to get to 100K followers, because I know when it gets there, I can also verify it, because I had another issue with verifying earlier this week, because there are so many scammers using my content to scam you people. So I need my account to be verified. And shida tu na hii platform ni kwamba, like, you need to know someone for something to happen. And I don't know anyone at TikTok. I do not know anyone who works at TikTok. So it has to be like, ni kama ni connection ya nani na nani na nani, for someone internally to say these accounts need to be verified. But it is a long journey, so there's nothing I can do right now. What's the age of a child to be able to take themselves to school and be alone at home? The age should be 12. And that's for being alone at home. It's 12. Okay. And when they are 12, okay, let me finish the thought, then I'll come to that. At 12, they can be able to even pick their siblings and be with their siblings in the house. It's also a safety thing because hapa kila kitu inaweza cause fire. Whatever it is, it can cause a fire. So you just have to be careful. But the other thing that I've noticed here is there's something called renter's insurance. Do you people have renter's insurance? Renter's insurance protects your things in case of a fire or a burglary. So that is one of the things that we are paying for each month. I think we are doing $15 a month. And it's part of the rent. So you have your rent, you have utilities, and then you also have renter's insurance. Okay. Go to the settings and turn off videos and photos downloads. That doesn't help. It doesn't help because there are websites where people can just pick your link and go and download your video. And that's precisely what they're doing. Even when you click on download for TikTok, it doesn't necessarily come to your phone. It just makes it available for you when there is no network you can be able to watch. So even if you turn off photo and video download, it doesn't stop someone who wants to steal your videos. Yeah. And the horrible thing about TikTok is the fact that they are not very serious about impersonation. They are not. If it was on YouTube, my friend, you put my video like this on YouTube and it shows my face, I get a notification immediately. That's why, honestly, for content creators, YouTube will always be the platform that will be the one that thinks about creators the most. And that's just the truth. Because on YouTube, someone dares to download my video and put on their profile, I get a notification telling me so and so has uploaded your video and it is from minute this to minute this. What would you like to do? And I have an option of telling them, of just contacting them and telling them, where, remove that video from your profile. And the second option is I can issue a takedown notice, and that gives you a copyright strike. You get 3 copyright strikes, your account is deleted. So if you've downloaded 3 of my videos, your channel is getting deleted. So all the work that you do there, you will lose. If you had 10,000 subscribers, you will lose them because you're stealing people's content. So I love that, because imagine the amount of work that it takes. And you guys have seen on this profile. Imagine now we are at video number 69. Yes, we've just done 69. 70 is going to go up in about an hour. So yesterday, I was creating 5 videos for today. Today, once we are done with this live, I'll sit down and create the videos for tomorrow. How much work am I doing behind the scenes to make sure that every single day I have 5 videos up for people to learn, and you're learning for free, and then some thief comes in and they want to steal my content. And then what's even more, because you can take my content wherever, you'll not get my views. But the worst thing is now they go ahead and DM you people and tell you, oh, there's this amazing opportunity. In fact, 3 days ago, I was so pissed off. I went live on this profile because they had DM'd someone who knows me. And then Ananiuliza, is this you? I'm like, but look at the views that person has. They have like 5, 6, 2 views, 7 views, no comments at the same time. But I went and checked who it was, had a feeling I was not exactly who it is, but another channel that is associated with that one. I went and saw. But getting followers on this platform is not a mark of this is a real profile. There are websites where you can go where you can actually buy followers. They exist. We don't go that route because it doesn't help you in any way. If you just have viewers and nobody's engaging with your content. So I go the extra route of I want the people who are coming on my profile to actually be genuine people. Okay? But you guys need to be careful out here. You need to be careful out here. Eh? Miss Vess, welcome back. Ulipotea na tukashindwa. Eh? You guys just need to be careful. So, with children, it's really important for you to now look for a way. How do you make sure that your schedules match taking care of the kids? Because otherwise, you need someone who permanently, that's their work. So, in our case, what we did is under emergency contacts, of course, there is the two parents, which is number 1 and 2. And then the number 3 person is a friend of ours who's a neighbor. So if the two of us completely are not available, at that time I couldn't play. So I had to log off, change a particular setting, then we played. But anyway, it's okay. Kama ulikuwa na gift unaweza kutuma wakati huu, milango inaweza iko bado open, sadaka bado tuna collect. So now with the what was I saying? What was I telling you people? So now the two of you just need to find a way of, I definitely will. I need to create a poster that I'll just be changing dates and then be telling you guys in advance. You need my bad. So in our case, so typically what spouses do is one goes to work in the morning, the other one goes to work at night. So one takes care of the kids during the day. The other one is available for the kids at night. I particularly don't like that arrangement because that means mukiwa wawili hamtaonana. But pia, you came here specifically for work and to make money. And even though, yes, I'm saying one can work during the day and the other one in the evening. Oh, Miss Vess, bado hatujajaza nyumba na vitu mingi sana. So that may be the reason why. Because I'm in a large room. I'm in the sitting room. I'm in a large room. So kwa hayo tu mutanisamehe kwa leo. So even though one may be working during the day and the other in the night, you'll still get some time when this other person is off. So bado mutaonana. Now you need to make sure the two of you are really spending valuable time. Or it may be something on your end because it's not on mine. So you guys just need to find a way of the time that you're available around each other. You are really serious about the relationship between the two of you. Because yes, mnaweza kuja huku kutengeneza do, but don't forget the relationship that you both have. When you go to Florida for training 6 weeks, who and where did you and the kids stay? Please answer. Okay. Jina ya Kiarabu. Miss Uruba. So now, in our case, our agent doesn't take people to Florida. I know there's an agent that does that. Take people to Florida for training. Thank you, Miss Vess, for that hand heart. Thank you so, so much. For training, and then now after that, haya, nimetulia basi. Thank you, Miss Vess. Thank you so, so much. God bless you very much. All gifts are appreciated. A lot, a lot, a lot. I appreciate you. And be blessed. Mahali unaenda kuzitafuta hizo pesa, ibarikiwe zaidi, na upate zingine. Okay? So the question Miss Uruba has asked about Florida, there is a particular agent. I do not say names of agents because that is advertising for them. and we are not doing advertising for them. Okay? So that's a reason why I do not mention them out. I am also a business person. Ukisikia nimeongea juu ya mtu na nikasema jina, ujue lazima kuna kakitu nimepewa, kuna kakiru. Kwa sababu hii ndio job yenye tunafanya bana. Na kwa kazi yako unajua vile unafanya biashara. Okay? But anyway, there's an agent that actually takes people to Florida for training. And I know this question has come up before in another live some time back, but I'll answer it here as well. And I'm always happy to answer your questions. Okay? Never feel that a question is too small or stupid to ask in public. Because adults, we have that thing of shame. Shame wachana nayo kwa kando. Na shame alikuwa mtoto wa Noah. But let me answer the question. When you find yourself going to Florida, you have two options. Okay, the options are many, but let me give you the first option. And I give you options. You decide now what you do. One option is that the spouse who is coming to go to Florida flies to the US and goes to Florida, and the rest of you are still in Kenya. I am not saying this is what you should do and this is what you should not do. I'm just mentioning the options. So they can come do the 6 weeks. Once you've done the 6 weeks, they come back to Kenya for the rest of you, and you guys come back together. And now you go to the state where you'll be stationed. Of course, you have to think of the cost implication, which comes with each of the options that I will mention. Okay? So again, I repeat, I am not saying do this or do that I'm just giving you the several options that exist. So one option is the spouse who's a nurse who's coming for training, because Florida may not be the state where you'll finally work. It's just where your training is. You can come alone. And these are also questions that you can ask your agent, and they will guide you on the same. But I'm telling you the options here for free. You can come to Florida, get your training, and then you can even go back to Kenya for like 2 days, because you already know this is when my training starts, this is when it ends, this is when I'm supposed to start at the new place, which is something that you can actually just change with your employer, so that when you're in training, one of the things that will be happening those first 1 or 2 weeks is for your social security number to reach, the card to reach to where you are, so that you can open bank accounts, so that you can get the first place to live and things like that. Okay? And then the other option is that you come with your whole family and come to Florida and look for a place to be staying. And because now all of you will be in Florida, you'll find your social security cards will come, and they'll typically go to the agent, which is the option that you should use, that the cards go to the agent, then the agent sends them to you wherever you are, because they typically ask for the address where you live. So they come to where you are. This one is a bit different because you will find now all of you are in the country. Those are more mouths to feed. Right now, as we speak, it is school season. The fall school season has already started. So that means your children, if you have them, need to be in school. Okay? Wherever you are staying in Florida, children should not be in the house for 6 weeks while other kids are going to school. Okay? That's option number, you get it, number 2. Option number 3 is that you guys fly in, but to the state and city where you'll be living. And now you get a house where you'll be staying after you've done your 6 weeks. So that's where your spouse will be. That's where your children will be. So you can see all this depends on your budget and how the two of you arrange yourselves. Because your spouse at that time doesn't have a job, and realistically, they can't get a job where they're actually going to work because now it is one spouse living with the children for 6 weeks. So necessarily they have to be home for that 6 weeks. But in that 6 weeks, they can be able to, they'll get their social security card, they'll be able to get a bank account, they'll be able to get their driving license, which is one of the things that you need to work on. And you get all these things in that process. Okay, so now you will sit down with your spouse thinking about all these options and look at how do you go about it. Option number one, where I said you come and then go back for them, is because the visa that your spouse and children get is a visa that on their first entry, they have to be with the principal person. And if you're a nurse, you know what principal is. So the E31, EB31 person has to come with the EB34 and 35s. They have to be with you. You are their ticket into the country. So you can't leave them in Kenya and then they come alone, especially on the very first time when they are going to get that first stamp. So bring them in. Okay? Yeah. So then now just look at what costings that will do for you. Because when you come in, and if you haven't yet come in, I can give you homework, things to do. Okay. One of the first things to do is whichever state, whichever city you're going to, just go on Google Maps, first of all, and see where your hospital is, where you'll be going to work. Wachana mambo ya Florida. Florida 6 weeks will end before you even know it. Where are you going to be working? And then you look at 20, almost 25 miles around where you will be working. That is necessarily your circumference of where comfortably you can live. Okay? I wouldn't advise, especially if you're going to work in a big city, I wouldn't advise for you to live very near to where you work because it may be in the middle of town. And if you've been in Nairobi, it's like living where? It's like living on Kenyatta Avenue. And that's where your home is. Because the big cities especially, they are very busy. So imagine that's where you're raising your children. That's where they are going to school, because wherever you will live, it will determine where you'll go to school, but we'll go there. So you're checking 20, 30 miles max where you can actually live. And you're also looking at, you know what your salary is going to be. So if you're already talking about Florida, you already know what you're going to be earning. So now you look at, can I afford this place? And of course, the videos that I'm doing are around, make sure that your rent is not above 30% of what you're getting. That is so that you can be able to afford all these other things, because you have your rent, you have your car, you have health insurance, and you have car insurance, and then you have food. Those 5 things are your biggest expense when you come here. So look for a place where if you have 2 children, then a 2-bedroom house works. But also it will also depend with their gender and their age. Because if you have teenage children and they are of different genders, then they necessarily have to be in different bedrooms. Okay? So you may need to get a 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house, depending on your particular situation. So now you're looking at, I want a 3-bedroom, it needs to be this budget, and it can be this distance in whichever direction of where I work. Okay? So with this, you're able to find a good place to stay. One of the websites that you can actually go to check for homes is called Zillow. Zillow. And at the same time, your agent can also give you recommendations of places. Just ask. Tell them we are looking for this number of bedrooms. It can be this number of miles from where I will be working, good schools, and whatever other thing that you have right there. Okay? With that, just give me 1 second, guys. Emergency kidogo tu narudi. I'm back like I never left. So, your agent can actually help you with that information as well. They'll send you a few recommendations. Please make Google your friend. And the good thing with the way houses are here, I'd say get an apartment. Don't necessarily get a standalone house. Kwa sababu you don't know exactly how things typically work. So getting a place where you can get an apartment, and don't think apartments the way we think of Kilimani and Lavington and things like that. Here, an apartment is like an store that is under a particular property manager. That will enable you, at least you're in a place where there are many people. Okay? So the next consideration in that case is the neighborhood that you're going to. Does it have enough or good schools? That's the other consideration. This way you're able to, because where you will live, there's already a school where children from that area, they go to. Here it's not like ati my kid goes to Riara. There is nothing like that. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Where you live, there is a school assigned to you in your in your district. Okay? So your children will be going there. So now, not all schools are equal. However, most schools are good enough. Because these things, they are going to be taught the same thing. But now I want you to think in terms of if the area is a little average and above average in terms of income and even the way the houses look and things like that, you will typically get better schools. These are just things to think about. Because where your children go to school affects the kind of quality of education they will get. Because there are public schools that are not as good as others, and that you will see even on Zillow. Okay? So you're checking, like for me, what I was doing is I was checking if there's a school that is a 5 out of 10 and above. Anything 5 out of 10 and above is okay. But when you go to the school, the schools are typical, they're almost the same. Now utapata elementary school inatoshana na some of our universities in Kenya, but that is not beside the point. That is beside the point. So now, once you are able to secure the house, they will ask for your information so that they can give you the house. The house is not automatic, okay? They want to know if you can be able to afford. So you'll need a letter from your employer showing that I will be paying this amount of money to this particular person so they can afford to live here. Cool? So that's the letter that you'll take. Of course, you'll do an application on their website or wherever they want you to do the application. They will show you around in Inini. They may even say, we want you to have paid this amount of money, just the same way we do in deposits in Kenya. But then the bigger difference is the rent you pay is dependent on how long of a commitment you are making to stay there. Okay? So in that case, if you do a 12-month or a 13-month, we did 13 months, you will pay less rent than someone who has said they are planning to be there for 6 months. And in that case, you're probably saving almost $100 a month. In that case, utajuaje si scam? Oscar, like for us, what we did, we checked all those things online, but then we came and made the final decision when we landed, because you can actually come stay at an Airbnb for like 1, 2, 3 days. As you go to the place, finish up with everything, and now you just keep them bumper to bumper for them to approve your case quickly, because all these forms we were sending while still in Kenya, and they send you the application form. We sent all those things while we were still in Kenya. They ask for your bank statements. Of course, your bank statements are in Kenya shillings, which in the US is nothing. But if you can open a USDT, not USDT. Why? Okay, minimum to a crypto, so napenda USDT. If you can open a USD account while you're in Kenya, and your savings, you put them there, so that that's where you'll be taking money from as you're setting up the US bank account. So your account has, say, 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever thousands it has, but it shows that you have money. That makes it much faster to approve you. Okay? Because this person just needs to see that you have money. So in our case, what we did is, because we had some savings that we had on the side, we actually picked that money and we paid rent for like 2 months, because we knew by the time that 2 months is done, we'll have already started making money in the country and we can continue paying them. That makes your work easy, but also just creating that relationship with the person who's approving, because they can see you. You know, when you're online, and you know, they do not know anything about Africa, by the way. So when you're there with them, you can actually state your case. And I want you home. I would like to stay here. This is my situation. At first, they were asking for pay slips. Here they call them pay stubs. But in our case, I told them, this is our first time in the country, so we do not have pay stubs. And even when the person at the first time was insisting, they can, but at the end of the day, the responsibility is yours, Andy. The responsibility is yours, not the agency. The agency is bringing you into the country. They can guide you on where exactly to get the house, but they are not the ones who are going to sign or even co-sign, because they are paying you. You'll be paying rent. So now the thing I'm saying is, in order for this process to move quickly, you will have already identified a place. If you can get a home, 2-bedroom is above 1,000 square feet, that's a house you can live in. And at the same time, remember, you can live in a home, and then now once you're here and now you're seeing things clearly, now you can start making changes. Because you may live in a house for 6 months and then be like, this is not the kind of house that we want to live in for a long time. So you check 2 months before you want to leave, you start looking for the next place. so that you're not stressed about getting the next home. Because now the second place will be asking, where do you stay currently? So that they can find out, are you a good payer? Do you have a good credit record and things like that? The first home is to establish your history. Now, when we get to a time when we will be thinking about getting a second home or a second place we'll be renting, they will now need to find out, were you bringing problems when it came to rent? Okay? Because all those things are attached to your record. We are to a hammer there. So now getting the house is the first thing that you need to make sure you've done in your first week. Getting into the house is another mountain on its own, because sometimes you may find they have a house, you've liked it, but it's not yet ready for you to get in. So it needs to be looked at by facilities just to make sure it is livable, first of all, and everything is working, and then you can move in. And that's the reason why I'm saying, ideally, get an apartment, because you'll have property managers who are handling 100 homes. So this is something that they do professionally. They have companies which are doing this. If you get a stand-alone home on your very first time, you're typically dealing with an owner. And an owner is someone mwenye anaweza ingia mitini. Yeah? So getting somewhere where already structures exist is the best bet for someone who is new to the country, because you also don't know what questions to ask to find out what problems are there. What do you test for? Because we're discovering things when you are here. Yes, you've been in a house in Kenya, but have you been in a house in the US? No. So you'd rather have an agent, property management company, in a place where there are many homes. Sawa? So the home is the most important thing for you in week 1. Do not skip it. Don't let it go to week 2. You get in like this. So you've already identified which district you want to stay in. And of course, once you come in, you'll realize, oh, kumbe, there are better houses here. Don't worry about those things. First, you're looking for a home you can afford that is 20-30 minutes from where you live, from where you work, so that you're not living in Tao, but it's a place where children can be able to grow up away from the noise of town. Okay? And then when you're signing your agreement, make sure the two of you are on the lease agreement, because the lease document is one of the documents that enables you to get other things. So getting the lease document where you live is really important, and both of you need to be on it. It doesn't matter who's paying the rent, that's another story, but both of you, husband and wife, need to be on the lease document. That way you'll make sure that this is a document the husband can use when he's opening a bank account, the wife can use when she's opening a bank account, and you can be able to use it in other places, because even when you're driving, you need to have a document that shows where you live. So you can be able to have that. Okay? Assignment number 1, once you get in, is the house. And if you're here and you have not yet followed, please make sure to follow. As I get water, because nimeongea sana na I'm too many likes. Niko na zile viti kama za bank executives. Naingia kwa CEO, napata kiti ile ya kuzunguka. Ndio kama hii. Hi Joyce, welcome. So, assignment number 1, week 1, the house. So you get your lease agreement. The lease agreement, within 48 hours you should be in. So if you come in on Monday, honestly, by Thursday, you should have Iba. She's far. She's a bit far. Karibia. Akombali. But nitamsalimia. And welcome to this place. So now, first you've gotten the house. Once you've gotten the house, assignment number 2 is communication. Assignment number 2 is communication. Here there are 2 options. Yes, tycoons, we are here. Here there are 2 options. One is to get a prepaid line, and 2 is to get a postpaid line. In Kenya, most people are on prepay because you pay as you go. That is prepay. You spend the money, and then now you're given minutes, you're given data and things like that. So when you come in, the easiest one to get is prepay. When you get prepay, you'll probably be charged what, $45? Ben, salamu zako zimefika? Anakujua. So Andy, I was passing a message. That's why I muted myself. 2:30 wanafika hapo chini. So by 2:17 utoke. So now the communication is the next thing. There are 2 options. You get either a prepaid line, which is typical what we typically do in Kenya, or you get a postpaid one. The postpaid, I wouldn't advise for someone to postpay immediately when you get in, because you can get a different rate based on your credit score, and your credit score doesn't come immediately. It takes about 2 months or so for it to come in for most people. It's just that for someone like myself, I did a few things here and there, so I was able to get in about a month, because you need to have some sort of credit, but we'll get there. We are still on week 1. So you've gotten your house, so you have a lease agreement. Then you'll get a prepaid line, which does not require you for your credit to be checked. Okay? So in that case, you now have a way to be communicated with. So in your Kenyan phone, you don't need necessarily to buy another phone immediately. You don't necessarily need to buy another phone. Tukue pamoja. Tuwe hamwe. You do not need to have another phone. So you get the line, which is a prepaid line. You'll pay maybe in a month $30 or $45, depending on which service provider you pick. There are quite a number of them. There are those national ones, and then there are online ones that are on the national ones. But when you get here, you'll choose one. And you really can't go wrong with the major ones. There's Verizon, there's AT&T, there's T-Mobile. Of course, there are others, and there are so many others. Some I don't even know their names. So thing number 2 that you are sorting out is communication. This is how now your agent will be able to get in touch with you. Some places won't let you sign a lease without credit or proof of income. Yes, so that's why a little earlier, Sheila, and thank you for that. And the techno haifanyi huku. Mujue hivyo mapema. There are some phones that don't work. So here, the phones that work, let's just be clear: Samsung, iPhone, and I've seen Motorola. Tecnos, Xiaomi, Oppo, all those. Hazishiki network huku. But that's beside the point. Now there's a second way of communication. So some places won't let you sign a lease without credit or proof of income. This was actually something that we had to fight for. In my case, we had to fight for. So we told them, since you are looking for proof of income, we got a letter, which was her employment letter, stating this is how much she will be earning and she's starting work from this particular day. But secondly, I told them I have my own savings, which I am able to pay for the rent up to this particular time, more than you need. Because ideally, you should be paying at the first of the month for that month. And then when you get to first, you pay for the next month. So I told them, we are in June at that time. It's start of June. I will pay you up to the end of July. Right now, as we speak, I will pay you up to the end of July. And that means that by the time her income starts coming in at the end of July, we will be able to continue with life. Guys, you guys are not tapping the screen, so it looks like hakuna kitu tunafanya hapa. Okay? Don't just look at me and you're not tapping the screen. Tap the screen so that there is activity going on here. Okay? So, with that, we're able to show that we can be able to pay. Because the thing that they are really stressing about is we want to see your pay slip, or what they are calling here pay stubs. So if you hear pay stubs, they are pay slips. Okay? It's the same thing. But I cannot provide you pay stubs from Kenya, because in Kenya, whatever I'm earning is peanuts. It cannot be able. Let me backtrack. We are being paid less in we are being paid less in Kenya. And if I use my pay slips from Kenya, I cannot be able to afford your house. So I necessarily do not have pay stubs. And so we told them that the thing is, I can show you I will be paid. And then I can also pay you in advance. So what's the problem? And it is just something that needs to be overridden by someone who is not seated there. And so on the very first day, because that was something that had arrived, that had been there for like 2-3 days before we even showed up, nikamwambia, I want to speak to that manager of yours. That's what I told her. Since you're not the one who's able to authorize for us to get into the house, since you're the one just here and she had just come into that job, I told her that let me speak to the other person who can authorize this. Akajaribu kamia, no. It's not that I want to put you in trouble, but I want to be able to speak with someone who has the mandate and the authority to be able to listen to my case and make that decision. Because it is actually a financial decision. I'm telling you, I don't have this, but I have this. Can this be a substitute of this? And some people cannot make that decision because of where they are in the organization. So she just called that person. And within 24 hours, we had our lease agreement. The good thing is, in some instances, private landlords could let you stay, or if you have a co-signer. Yes, that is possible. But I'm also stating that for most people who are coming into the country, I prefer that they avoid private landlords because I don't know the state of the house. But if I'm dealing with a big organization that has apartments and things like that, if I need something sorted out, I can be able to just, because right now I just go into the system and I say this and this needs to be taken care of. And they send someone and it is taken care of. But with a landlord, then I have to keep following with them. And of course, all those are costs to them. So that's the reason why. Okay? But Sheila, let me make sure I'm following you. Am I following you? Guys, let's make sure we are following Sheila. She's giving a lot of good points. And thank you for being very engaged, Sheila. So now, thing number one was the house. We've gotten a house, we have the lease agreement, and the two of you are on the lease agreement. Thing number two is communication. So ideally get a prepaid one. Once you are able to get a credit score, which I'll tell you what you can do for credit score in a few minutes. Once you get a credit score, you can now go back to your service provider and they can even give you a better phone. So, because here, unlike Kenya, you don't need to buy your phone outright. You can get into a contract for 24 months and they are okay with you paying them for over 24 months. In fact, we got a deal now for my spouse's phone that they were giving it to her for free. Unajua hiyo ni kitu yenye hatujaisikia Kenya, ati simu ni free. So the only thing she is paying for is the $25 for her bundle, which gives her unlimited data, unlimited talk time and SMSs and all that. But typically really hatuna watu wengi tunapigia simu, so she's paying her phone $25 a month, and in 2 years the contract will be done and the phone is hers. Mine, I am paying $50 for the phone and $25 for the bundle, which still is affordable because we are doing $100 a month. It was T-Mobile, Sheila. It was T-Mobile. So they had that. So we took it very quickly, because what do you mean you're getting S26 something and it's free? Ulisikia wapi? So that comes especially when you have credit. So now you've gotten house, you've gotten communication. The next thing on this my list is mail. Mail. In this country, you cannot survive without mail. And I wish Kenya, this had been followed through, because they had tried something like that with Posta, but I know it is political things that made it not work. But you will notice in Tao, CBD, there are some numbers on buildings. And the idea is that you can be able to identify a building by its number. If you go to stores like Buruburu and Komarok, the way they used to be, you will see house numbers on homes. So you could actually direct someone and tell them, I live in house number this, sector this, in Komarok. And they can actually come to your door. These days it doesn't exist. And I will mention another estate which had numbers, which is Savannah. Savannah is the most confusing place, because you'll have number 136 here, but the next door neighbor is number 455. And I have no idea how that actually worked. But now in the US, every home has an address on it. And that's your house number or apartment number. And that's how you get your mail. So even for people who are here, who are in the US, when I got here, because najua mimi napenda research sana, I discovered something called informed delivery. Informed delivery is a service by United States Postal Service, otherwise known as USPS. With informed delivery, they have an app and they can also send you emails. Every morning, I am informed whether I have a package or a mail that is coming. And it's a free service that they provide. So every single morning, I am told you have this number of letters that are coming, and it even shows you like on the face of the envelope. So you know this is a mail I'm waiting for. Like right now, I'm waiting for a particular mail. So I can know if I order something on Amazon and it's going to be delivered by USPS, I get informed on the app called Informed Delivery. and I can be able to know where my package is. The reason I'm mentioning US mail now is because when you are setting it up, once you've landed, they send you a letter. The letter is a letter of confirming that is where you live. So you've gone to their website, go to Inform Delivery, just go on the app, download Inform Delivery. When you're signing up, they will tell you they want to send you a letter. This letter gets to you in 2-3 days of you signing up. It's your very first mail that you're receiving. Okay, so first you get to know where your post office is. If you're living in an apartment, if you're living in a standalone home, there's usually a US mailbox. So then, okay. Then this mail that you have received, it will have a code on it. This is a code that you will now key in onto their website, and now you have confirmed that you actually live at that particular place. But the reason for that mail is more important than just informed delivery. So we mentioned number 1, the lease agreement. Number 2 is communication. Number 3 is US mail, because there is never a time you'll not need mail. Number 4 is driving. Driving is the number 4 thing. Of course, with driving, you also have bank account. Which one do you handle first? Let's handle driving first. But you can still get a bank account before you get driving. I hope we will be together there. And if I forget to tell you how, when we get there, let me know. But now we are at driving. Thank you so much, Alinda, member of the club. Na tunawaimbianga song mafans tunawapenda wote. Mahiras kama mnipendi. Watu wa age yetu ndio mnajua hiyo song. Tutaiachia hapo. So now driving. Depending on your state, because every single state has some other rules that it has. Edith Peace, nimebakia kidogo tu sasa nitaku block from my lives. Aya. So now, depending on your state, you have about a maximum of 2 months to drive using your Kenyan driving license. And the Kenyan driving license is not the red book. It's the one that looks like an ID. Okay? So when you come in, you can be able to drive on the roads without a US driving license if you have your Kenyan driving license. And it needs to be valid. Sawa? Iyo unaweza tumia. Na tutafika kwa getting a car. Kabla tuende kwa bank. Getting a car. Tutafika hapo. So where are we? Now you need to go for a road test. In my state, we have the knowledge test, which is a written test. That's the first one that you book for. So you go there with your passport, yenye inaonyesha visa yako vile imefika, and you go with your social security card. So you getting that now you can't go for driving without the social security card having gotten to you. Although that doesn't take time. Ours took about 3 weeks to get to us. My wife's took about a month of us landing, but it still took 2 weeks because she had come a week earlier than we came a week later. Okay? So now you have your passport, which shows you are legally here. You also have your social security card, not just the number, the card. And these are the few times that you will actually need that card out in public. And then you have your lease agreement. You have an electric bill, which is a utility bill. These are options. And you also have the US mail. Remember the US mail? Because in the house that you get, and this is something I forgot, in the house that you get, you will also need to sign up with the power provider. You'll be told who it is, and you need to sign up for an account there, because now your electricity, you'll be paying directly to them. You don't pay to your landlord, typically. You don't pay to your landlord. So my wife is the one who had the account with the power company, and so she was able to use the power bill and the lease agreement on hers. I used the lease agreement. What did I say? Lease agreement plus power bill is what she used. I used lease agreement plus US mail. Remember the mail I received just to confirm where I live? That's US mail. That's what I used when I was now going for the driving test. So all you just need to do is search your state name and say driving test, and you'll get the website for your state where you will find practice questions. And if you're going for the driving test, hizo practice questions zenye ziko hapa, hizo tu ndio mitihani ambazo zitakuwa kwenye mtihani. What do I say? What am I saying? You don't need to study anywhere else apart from those practice tests. I did about 7 of them. My wife did all 20, and each of them has like 40 questions. But then when I was doing it, I started seeing a pattern in the questions. So I realized, this is, so if it is this, this is what it means. If it is this is what it means. And if you start seeing the patterns, do like 10 of those exams. When you do those 10 exams, when you go into the exam room, you'll be fine. Okay? So first you do the written test. So it's a written, you're doing knowledge, and so this is road knowledge. How much is it supposed to be for alcohol level, for when you get to a yield, what are you supposed to do? Things like that. Things to do with being on the road. What color sign shows direction? Which one is warning? Which one is this? All those are things that are in that first test. That test, in my state, you need to do 75. Is it 75% or 70%? 75% to be Peter. It's either 70 or 75. Okay? Because it's 40 questions, you need to get 30 right. So once you've done that, you've gotten them right, you get what is known as a learner's permit. The learner's permit allows you to drive on the road. However, you need an adult to be seated there. Lakini Wakenya tunafuata hiyo. Sisemi na nguvu. But once I got that, immediately I got that, I now applied for the road test, which now you will get on the road, and now they want to see you physically driving. In my state, what is happening is you may or may not have the instructor with you in the car. So they may sit next to you, just the way we do driving tests in Kenya. Najua Kenya, you go to the board and you draw, you're told if this car is moving from here, where it's supposed to move, and that's part of the test. So here it's written, there's a computer, you do that on the computer, you do that, you're done. Then now you need to apply for the road test, which is a different day. Not the same day as your knowledge test. But by the time you're coming now for the road test, already you have your learner's permit. So now you have fewer documents than the first time, because now they already know you are a resident, and they already know you have a social security number because you gave them initially. So you go with the learner's permit and you still go with your passport. But if your green card has already arrived, then you go with your green card. So now with the road test, the instructor may be seated next to you, or your friend may be seated next to you, but do not drive yourself to the driving place, because I've heard some people say that's why they were told they had failed, because they were all alone, and you need to have someone next to you if you're coming as a learner. Then in my case, they used a camera which was placed in the car. This person who's next to you already has their driving license, but they are not supposed to help you with this exam. So I was told 2 main things: how to reverse park and how to parallel park, which are things that In Kenya, reverse parking, most people would know how to do it. Parallel parking is what people don't typically do in Kenya, because there are not very many parallel parking places. Most parkings in Kenya are usually angled parking. Okay, so you need to know parallel parking. But in the driving area on a weekend, you can actually come and practice your parallel parking there where you'll do the exam later. So you can actually come and do that. Then you get to the road and they tell you, we are going to turn left, we are going to turn right, we are going to do this. So this person is watching you in the camera and they can see what you're doing. So in that case, you're looking at your blind spots, you're looking at the mirrors, things like that. You're indicating just good behavior on the road. By the time we are finishing, they tell you whether you've passed or not. You go back in, now you get a paper driving license, and then the other one comes in about a week later. So you've gotten house, communication, US mail, driving license. Now with the driving license, hi Werimo, now with the driving license, you can be able to now go and hire a car if you don't have a car yet. Because when you come in, you may not have a car yet. There are big companies that do rental. So now you decide now with our budget, because you need to budget for this. Now with our budget, which car do we go for? So in our case, we picked a car similar to what we'll finally be having and driving, so that pia tuzoe na pia tuko nataka to drive the same car that we were driving while in Kenya. Tulikuwa nataka ku upgrade kidogo, so we did like a small upgrade just for. And please, you're also in another country, so you just budget yourself. There are two options here. And this is from my experience. Alinda, thank you so much for those gifts. Where Alinda, Mungu akikubariki. Mungu akibariki wengine, yako ni times 2. Ujue tu hivyo tu mapema. Yako ni times 2. Wewe na Miss Vess. Mungu anawabariki times 2. Werimo, we are talking about what to do when you're in your first month of coming to the US. Now, you have two options for a car. Sheila, kuwa mpole. Tutaiweka tu online too soon. So now, you have two options, especially if you came with an agent. In our case, there was an option for a bank or a credit union that could offer us a limit, and we can go to any dealer and they've given us a maximum limit, and you can actually be able to go there. Most of the nurses with our agent use that option. We did not. Whether that is a mistake or not, Mungu tu ndiye anajua. Okay? So that's the option that you get. And what happened with them is that when we came in and we applied for the account with them, so my wife opened an account with them, they gave her a credit card with a really good limit, and then they also gave her a limit for a car. And that would have meant that within like a week or so, we can have gone to a dealer, agreed on the car, we've gotten the price that we want, and we give that letter and they send that letter to them and we get it approved. And that would have taken like 2-3 days. But we didn't follow that route because our wisdom told us something different. So we chose the second option, which is now an dealer who now for them, they offer you a rental car as you are working on getting the car that you want with them. And honestly, that is a thing that sold us for them. I will tell you our experience. It got to a place where we were getting frustrated with them because they seemed to be going very slowly. And even now, that is the feeling. Even though now we know when our car is coming, it's going to come on a particular date, but it's taken a lot of hassle to make them move. And that has left a nasty taste on our mouths, because why do we have to keep pushing people to do what makes them money? That's something I did not understand. But we chose them. They are, I don't understand why, because even with the rental that we have, it's not us who are paying, it's them who will pay the rental. So in my mind, I'm wondering, is there a special deal that employees have with this rental company, because it's their company that will pay for that rental, but labda kuna mtu mwenye ako hapa katikati who's making some money if they've rented for 2 months anatengeneza kado. I don't know. But then why 2 months to get a vehicle? And we had already settled on which vehicle we want before we left Kenya in May. We had already decided this is the car we want. So in my estimation, I thought to myself, you know what? Even if it takes long because we don't yet have a driving license here in the country, after the driving license comes in, it should take maximum 2 weeks. But it took a while. But anyway, nitawapea hizo stories zote in a future video coming soon here and on YouTube. When you nangoja vlog reveal, reveal on YouTube. We are not going to reveal it on a live stream like this. So you have a rental car, which if you just search car rental, there's a company, the company that we're using is called Hertz, and they are one of the largest car rental companies in the country. And they charge you around $25, $30 a day to rent. And it also depends with what's the size of your car. Okay? So you can rent them for a week, for 2 weeks, depending on gari yenu haijafika by when. Because the truth is, in this country, you cannot survive on Ubers. You'd rather you hire a car and you fuel it, because you'll be able to do very many more things. In fact, one of those dealers, hiyo siku tulikuwa tunagombanishana, she asked, but you guys should be happy because you're not paying for the car. I'm like, who told you I have a problem with paying for the car? Me, I want my car so that I don't have to keep thinking about rental anymore. Like, I know this is my car. Anyway, so you get your car, and now with the car, you can be able to move around anywhere, because now you have your driving license and you can be able to move around. After the driving license, whether you have it yet or not, as long as you have your social security card, you can open a bank account. The driving license is a better document to use because it's a US document. However, your passport can still open bank accounts. So what I did, one of the bank accounts that I opened first, I used my passport, because your passport shows ile page yenye iko na visa yako, it has all your details. So you can use that to open your account. And you can also go to one of the big banks and open an account there. In our case, we went to Chase because they had a promotion, and all these banks have promotions, by the way. So they had a promotion where if you do $1,000 in direct deposit within 90 days of opening the account, you get $400. Which, who doesn't want free money? Who doesn't want free money? And you know you can do that, and then ikisha ingia, unaenda unafungua kwingine, sala yako inapitia hapo mara 2-3, unafunga hiyo, unaenda unafungua ingine, hivyo tu. Tengeneza to 200, 300 everywhere. Okay? hawajapia siri, sawa? Don't tell everyone. So you can actually do that. Now, in our case, when we are getting the bank account, I decided, and let me tell you, this is because ninafanya research mingi sana. Before I left Kenya, these are, and my folks can tell you, and my people around me can tell you, the first 3 or 4 months just before we came here, me, I was not talking about anything else. Me, I was talking about, naonyesha wife, ebona hii hao yenye iko majuu, ebu ione, na tuko bundus. My mind had already switched. Unaweza kutana na mimi niko kwa barabara tu huko Juja Road, but my mind is not even on Juja Road. My mind is in the US. Nafikiria tu jua, where will our children go to school? How does this house look like? And I'd send my wife almost every day. Namtumia nyumba ingine. Namtumia, ebu angalia hii, angalii. Nashindwa, kwani ajui tunaenda mahali? Na angalia hivi nasema, sasa kama kutoka kwa hii hao, now me, I'm in Nairobi, I'm already planning logistics of us being here. Because there has to be one of the spouses who is doing these things. You all can't be the same. So me, I'm thinking, okay, if we decide this is the house you're going to live in, how far is it from where she works? So I ask her, okay, what's the address here? Yes, you need a support system. So what's the address of where she's working? So on my Google Maps, and this is on my Google Maps when I was in Kenya, you see where it says work. You can be able to set home and work. Work yangu while we were in Kenya ilikuwa where she works. Okay? Hiyo ndio ilikuwa work. And then I'd ask Google Maps, from this address which I've copied from Zillow to work, how long is it and how long does it take? So I can see it's 15 miles, which is within where I'm thinking, yes, this is possible. And I'm doing the math of, so if she lives at this time, that's 20 minutes to work or 30 minutes to work. That's the math I'm doing. She's not doing that math, and she's the one who's going to be working at that place. You're your support system. So spouses, you're your kazi to make sure ako sorted out. So now, those were the things I was doing. All through, I was even looking at schools. I'd even looked and seen 2-3 schools. Of course, you don't know the name of the school. And you look at different schools, you look at different websites, different counties. You haven't yet settled on which one you want. But in my mind, I knew one thing is, I do not want to live in this area. I do not want to live in this area, but I would like if we lived in this area or this area or this area. And these are things from tuko Kenya hiyo time. Those are the things I'm doing. And so we are preparing ourselves psychologically, especially for myself, psychologically, so that we are ready. We had even gotten to a point where I was thinking, you know what, you tell me we are going today, we are going today. I'm okay. I'm very ready. We can be able to go. Yeah? So, house, communication. Number 3 was what? Mail. Number 4 is driving. Number 5, what have we said? Number 5 is banking. Okay? So now when we get to banking now, this is where we get into the heart of life in the US. In the US, your life starts and ends with something called credit score. In Kenya, we have CRB, yes, but we don't use it as extensively as it is used here. Banks in Kenya have started what is known as risk-based pricing, which means that you can come for the same product from a bank, but get different rates. It has just started. It's not fully entrenched into how people borrow. So that's where you'll find rates are 14% or 15% for this type of people. But here it is on a personal level now. Okay? So now, credit score is where your life starts and ends here. So, when it comes to credit score, the thing that you're checking is you need to have a credit score as soon as possible. And the only way you will get a credit score is when a company you have borrowed from reports that you have borrowed from them. So how do you get that quickly? When you open your bank account, in our case, we went to Chase. When we went to Chase, one of the questions the banker asked us is, would you like a credit card? If you're in Kenya, what answer will that be? Eh? If you're in Kenya, what will the answer be? Unataka credit card? Because our bankers come and sell to us credit cards. Our bankers come and sell us credit cards. So someone at your bank who's a salesperson comes and says, would you like a credit card? Tuko na credit card, ziko on offer. Has your bank ever called you about that, by the way? I know there are some banks which do. They call you to get your credit card. They've already pre-approved you. Because their systems can see you qualify for a credit card. In Kenya, most people don't want credit cards. In Kenya, most people don't want credit cards. But once you land in the US, my friend, thing number one to get is a credit card. It is mandatory. It is mandatory to get a credit card. However, you still need to know how to use a credit card so that you use it to your advantage. And I'll share with you what to do. But you get a credit card because that bank, just by the fact that you've opened an account with them, they already give you what I am calling a nominal limit. It can be $500, it can be $1,000. They are okay with giving you $500, even if they don't know anything about you, because a credit limit is a limit to how much do they trust you with this loan that they are giving you, which is a credit card. So now, when you're opening your first bank account and your bank asks you that question, would you like a credit card? Your answer is yes. Because what are we after? We are after getting a credit score. And there is no way you'll get a credit score without a credit card, especially when you're starting off. Because you'll start getting a credit score when you've taken the car loan, which is known as an auto loan here, or you take a mortgage, which is a home loan, or you take a credit card. And the credit card is the fastest. The problem that most people have when they take credit cards is that they use that money and they don't pay it back. They pay it like a small amount, the minimum payment. So you end up paying a lot of interest on the credit card. So this is what you do. Because you just want quickly for this to get onto your credit score, you already have money in your bank account. Remember, you are saving. You already have money in your bank account. So now the account that you're opening in the US, whichever bank it is, you move money from your Kenyan account, the USD account, and you move it via SWIFT to the US bank account. Now your money is in the US. You have a debit card and you have a credit card. Here, don't use the debit card. Don't use the debit card. Kenya, we do things opposite because we do not have a credit system. That's why you'll find someone goes with their debit card, what we call ATM, to pay for groceries at Naivas. So the money leaves your account immediately at that time. Here, what you do is use your credit card to pay for groceries, use your credit card to pay for fuel, use your credit card to pay for whatever fee it is that you're paying, wherever it is. And then when you get to the house, you know what you've spent. You now pick that money and you send it to the credit card. So you'll never have interest that you're paying on the credit card, but you will get either points or get cash back depending on the credit card that you take. And that is additional money for you. But then what happens is when it gets the day, there's a date on your statement that is called the statement date. The statement date is the date that that particular institution reports huyu ako na credit card yetu na ameilipa hivi. When they do that, within 48 hours of them doing that, you get your first credit score. And if you do it well, it's very easy to get a credit score of 600 in your first month. This is very simple things to do. Because now after that, once you've gotten your first credit score, it takes a while for all 3 credit bureaus to have your score. So be patient, because there are 3 different companies which check credit or which have a record of your credit. So Bank A may be reporting to Credit Bureau A, say TransUnion. And so Equifax, is it Equifax? Equifax, and there's another one. There are 3 of them. The other 2 may not yet have your report because this bank reported to one of them. Then now the other 2 will get from this other one. And so now you have a score on all 3. So you pay the credit card immediately. I'm on the 25th. The way I am doing it, because I know I already have the money and I don't want any interest on the credit card, immediately I use it. Si nimeitumia tu. Nikifika home, I pay it. So I'll never have any issues with credit. And then after like 4 months of you paying it well and your usage is between 0 and 10%, you can go ask for a credit limit increase, which is also an advantage to you because now you can be able to do larger payments. And you can even do a huge capital payment on the credit card and then now just pay it slowly, depending on the intro rates that particular Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Thank you so much, Dan. Yes, Experian was the one I was forgetting. And it's the one that has an app. I already have the Experian app. So now, with this credit card, when it's been increased, don't take too many credit cards also at the same time. Ideally, like I've seen on Experian, the best they want is a maximum of 5 cards. But you don't need 5 cards when you're starting off. You can have 2. And you tell yourself, this one I used to pay this one I used to pay this. There's even a company called Built, which you can be able to pay your rent with, because they can send a physical paper check to your landlord. And you get points. Because hapa Kenya tunatafuta is to make some additional money from this money that we are spending. So like the card that I got is doing 1.5% cashback. There's another card that we are getting a point for every dollar that we've spent. Another one is doing 1% back. So hizo ni pesa tu bado you are getting back. Is it advisable to pay rent with a credit card? Only if you have the money already there. Because if you pay rent with your credit card and then you load it, so this is what I'd do in your case, Erico Phil. I'd put that money on the credit card and then now use the credit card and pay the rent. Never paying the rent without already having the money. And if you're being paid twice a month, then you can realistically pay half the rent, pay half the rent. So by the time your rent is due, all the money is there. These are now things that you look at your particular situation, and you can also speak with your landlord and find out, is it okay if I pay with a credit card? Because there are some places where if you use a credit card, they want to charge you the convenience fee. So those are just things to be careful with. Some places will be okay with eating the 3%. Some are not. Built is a credit card, but they can send a physical check to your landlord and you'll get points. So if you're paying rent of $1,500 and you're getting 2x points, that is 3,000 points. And that can be $30 or $60, depending on their conversion. So that means as you're paying 1,500, you're getting 30 back because you're using that. But then now you need to do the math of this. If there's a processing fee, is it higher than what I'm getting back? If it is, then it doesn't make sense to use the credit card. Are we together? And with that, you have survived your first month. And the thing is, and this is the thing I realized, days run. Days run. Here, days run a lot. I feel like you're awake just like this, and then the day is over. So even with the 6 weeks that we had been asked about, that 6 weeks is a very short time. And hopefully you're able to complete all these things that we just mentioned in that 6 weeks. And you need to do a lot of research. A lot of research. Atiza, thank you so much for that, Heart Me. That means you're learning something. So this 6 weeks that some agents take people to Florida, that time is very valuable time. You need a bank account. You need to start on your credit. You need to get a house. All those are things that you need to get before you start work. And you will make mistakes. So do not be afraid of making mistakes. This is how we learn. Okay? And if you're able to get a place where there are some people that you know, especially if they are good friends, that would be a good option to pursue. It's not a must, but it would be a good option to pursue. In my case, we were able to find a church, which that church has a lot of Kenyans. Actually, it's a Kenyan church. So having come from a Kenyan church, and then you come and you find Wakenya wenzako, fellow Kenyans, mekuwa kama Uhuru Kenyatta, Wakenya wenzangu, it makes you feel like you have a second home. At least you'll meet people, you'll laugh a little on Sundays. During the weeks, you can meet 1 or 2 people who become your friends. That's where you now start creating friendships from. But if you don't have that, it's still okay. Make friends with 2, 3 people so that you're not very lonely. And if you get lonely in the US, go live, and meet people online and make friends. This is how you survive in this country. Because again, I don't even know my neighbors. I don't. And 90% of the time, tunaonana tu hivi tu. Hivi mkipitana tu. And that's the culture here. In Africa tumezoea, Kasato, watu wanaenda Kanyama mahali, Nyama Choma somewhere, people watu wanaenda on a watch ball, they have their good time together, things like that. Or you're with family, you're with your cousins, things like that. Hapa ni ile song ya Rihanna. Work, 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 work. Kazi tu. And someone can tell you, by the way, we need to meet, we need to do this. Mutakaa mwaka mzima. Mukisema tu, you need to. And it won't happen. And it's not that you don't want to do it. It's that there isn't time. So you just need to be intentional about how you create relationships. And you don't have to be friends with everyone, by the way. You don't have to be. That's the other thing. And you don't necessarily have to have only Kenyan friends. Check. Are they good people? If they are, sawa. They join our group. If they are not, you just be careful. So I'll be taking questions. Let me hear your questions. Or if you have a question, request to be a guest and you can come up. Sheila is asking, on building credit score, how long does it take to 750? I'd say about 6 months. Within 6 months, you can make it to 750. And for me, that's what I'm building towards. So I actually monitor my water. I'm actually monitoring I'm monitoring my credit score regularly. So I use an app called Credit Karma, which is one of the apps that you can use to be checking your credit score. I also have an account with an app called Self. With Self, you can be able to also monitor your credit score. And this it's not an inquiry, this is your report. You can be able to see it there. You can also download Experian, but I noticed that Experian is asking for someone to pay for a subscription to get more features, which I'm not doing right now because I don't need it right now. I'll probably need it in about 6 months because I know the credit I've taken. I know the number of credit cards I have. So I know by end of this month, my credit will have changed because it will also depend on the usage that I have. So I'm able to monitor it like that. And it also tells you, like on Self, it actually tells you this is a reason why this changed. So you're able to keep track of that. And then now when you get a car, the auto loan now reports on your credit score. So you get an additional credit score because of mix of your credit. But there will be a video, and this is a video I can't do when I'm 2 months in. There is a video at 6 months in, which shows you the journey of how I made it to 750. But I'm building towards that. Because honestly, if you can be able to do 700, you're good to go. But I know, like I've seen content creators who talk about credit, who someone is at 800. Na kitu yenye wewe unapewa na 6%, yeye anapewa na 2% ama 3% because of credit score, purely just because of credit score. So it is something very crucial here. Pure Goldeye, welcome to the stream. Mr. Insight, I'm in Georgia. Wanjiku, welcome to the stream. So here, if you're serious about it, you now work together. The two of you work together. So my main thing that I'm concentrating on is making sure that our credit scores are both good. Because if we get to a point where we are saying we want to get a particular facility, then we get a good rate from wherever we go because of a good credit score. Because there are some things that you just miss because you're told your credit score is not good, or you're told you can get, but at this rate. So why would I allow my credit score to be down? So because you know the system wants you to take credit, you now take credit and use it to your advantage, because credit is not bad. That's the other unlearning that especially us who have come from Kenya need to learn. Because in Kenya, if you go to buy a phone, you go with all the money and you buy it. But when I buy a phone for 200,000 shillings, that means I have an opportunity cost of that 200,000 could have been put in a particular business and probably made me money. And I cannot access that opportunity because I've already bought a phone for 200 Gs. But here, if I know that something is 200,000 shillings, I want to get it and I can be able to afford it, I just speak it and pay what? $50 or $60 a month. So my 200K, I can be able to use it. And the profits I'm making from that 200K being in business, I now use that to pay this phone off. And still I have my 200K. So it is just a different knowledge to add on to how we typically would have done things while we were in Kenya. The people who tell you, yes, lipa mdogo mdogo on better terms. And you see, Andy, the thing is, in Kenya, we wouldn't have qualified for lipa mdogo mdogo. We wouldn't have. Because even the interest rates that are put exactly on the lipa mdogo mdogo in Kenya, they are so high, they are predatory in nature. But because you're middle class, you're not allowed to take it. It's given to the people who do not even have finance, and it's very expensive. Just reminds me. Hi, Wangel. Welcome. Wangel, are you following me here? I don't know if you are. Wangel is my good friend from Kenya. Amazing content creator. So, at least here, your cash, you don't have to put it all in a project. You can actually take credit and you're able to move things along. And now, the genius is this. Because I am in business and I'm using this for business, when it gets to the end of the year, the expense that I'm spending on this phone, I'll be able to write it off as a business expense. But employed people cannot do that. But because I am running a business, and you guys see this is a business, okay? Because I'm running a business, the amount of money I'm spending on a phone specifically to make my business better, I will be able to make this a business expense. It is a business expense. So my business will pay for it. When I get deals from brands and they pay me, when I go and do an event and I get paid, one of my expenses is this phone. And then I'm able to reduce my taxable income, because this phone that I'm buying, and it can be the latest phone that you're buying, you're able to get whichever phone that you want. So now, coming here has taught me, ukiona mtu na iPhone 17 Pro Max asikuringie. Within 2 months of being in this country, you can have your own iPhone 17 Pro Max. Because those service providers, they want you to have the phone. In fact, we walked into a Costco recently and we saw someone from AT&T and they had a deal and they were just telling us, oh, it's just too bad that you haven't been 3 months on that particular deal. They could have bought us off and given it to you for free. Like T-Mobile had 17 Pro on us. So you can get a 17 Pro, the base model, for free, not have to pay for it. And you're just paying the $25 for 2 years. And after that, the phone is yours. I don't know how they make money. So you know, in Kenya, vitu ni ngumu kidogo. Kwa sababu iPhone 17 kuishika hivi, let me not say the people who are able to afford the iPhone 17 Pro in Kenya. But here everyone can have it. You just need to have a good credit score, and you can even give your kids. Like you can buy your kids the iPhone 16s or even 15s. And it's not a big deal. And phones shouldn't be a big deal. Like resources shouldn't be a big deal. Because even a car, you can walk into like there's a dealership about 5 miles from where I stay, where I can get a 2026 car. 2026. And you can afford. Probably find you're paying $500 a month. And you pick it. And you go. As long as you have a good credit score and you can show them that, and even some of those places don't require you to show them that you have income, they'll give you. Na hizi vitu zote ni za dunia. Hizi vitu zote ni za dunia. But when you come here, at least within your first 3 weeks, just make sure you have a car. Ideally, it should be a bit earlier because you can get the rental car without having the US driving license, but get a car because most places you can't go without a car. So when it comes to housing, we were asked for bank statements. Initially, it was her bank statements only, but they started bringing issues. So I brought in mine as well. Zangu za biashara. The good thing is, I was making some good money at the start of 2026. So ilikuwa inapitia do. So wakaona inaweza ku afford. So I was also, and at first I didn't know what I'm advising you, that both of you should be on the lease agreement. So bank statements, whether they are for business or your employment or whatever they are, your bank statements, and then they also asked for a letter from her employer, just stating that we know this person and she will be working for us at this particular time. This is how much we'll be paying her per month. So with those, we're able to now have the house. But Pia, the fact that we were there physically also helped. Because you can talk on email and then someone spends 2 days and then they tell you, provide this other document. And then there is no other place where you can go to upload documents. They have a particular system which accepts those documents. And then we send a bank statement and we are told, so now we cannot accept this because this is a scanned document. It needs to be the original document. And remember, at this time when they're asking for some of these things, you're already here. You have not yet set up internet banking, which is something that I had forgotten to mention. While you're still in Kenya, please get internet banking and open a US account and put your savings in that US account and have a prepaid US card that has USD on it. So you can use that for some of your first purchases. When you're going to Walmart and you need to buy a few things, you can use that. Sheila, I hope that has answered your question. But truth be told, we would have 40x. What does that mean? 4 times the rent, not 40x. So you see, one of the things that here it's 3 times the rent. I think you meant to write 4x rent. So in our case, if you look at the rent versus how much she's getting, it is more than 3x. So she qualified there. And then I told them I'm able to use my savings because you can see them on my bank statement. I can be able to use those savings and pay for this rent between here and here before she starts work. So Atutakuwa Tumeka will not be seated in your house without having paid rent because she hasn't started working yet. So you add those two together, you're able to get the house. Because their issue is, you see, they're just worried about, and now they'll be checking, have these guys paid rent? But then again, and this is something that is just peculiar with the place where we are living, they had a promotion. So they had a promotion that if you come and sign an agreement with them, they will give you 6 weeks for free. What does that mean for you? 6 weeks paid for because you've signed an agreement with them is the incentive they were using to get people to come in. So now I've already paid them for 2 months, and then they add their incentive for another month, so I can live in that house for 3 months without thinking about rent. So now the thing that we just worked on is, even though mentally we know that we don't yet need to pay rent now, but we start living like we are paying rent already. And so every paycheck you deduct some amount that goes into rent, and you pay rent, and you pay rent, so that when it comes around, you're not thinking about, oh, now I need to start paying rent. You've already been living like you're paying rent, and you'll always be ahead in terms of rent. That's the other difference now in our case. And now you just need to check in your state, those incentives exist because they want people to live there. So if you've liked the house, you're like, are there any incentives? And they can create one for you. Because what do they want? See, they want a client so that they can make money for a year. They can waive a month or two. If they don't have, you're like, guys, but I've seen these guys who I also liked their houses. They have an incentive of 2 months. Can you guys match that? Because I want to live here with you guys. So now it becomes them wanting you because they do want you. Even though they're asking all of those questions, Sheila, they want you. And they want to have tenants because that's how they make money. They are losing money if the occupancy is low. And additionally, because our friend is the one who brought us here, she also made some money. They had an offer for that, and that offer is there in many places. If you bring a new renter there and they sign a agreement, you make some money. If you make $200, $300 because of bringing them a new client, sio ni pesa ya rent umesave. But remember, if you make those savings, please put them in a savings account. Don't eat all that money that you made because they put it towards your rent. They rarely give you the actual money. They usually put it towards your rent. But you'll feel the impact. You shall feel the impact. Hey, hi, how are you?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Good.
My name is Sheila. Thank you. That is very helpful information, to be honest, because sometimes when people go to the States and you have the Kenyan mindset, it becomes a bit hectic. So for me, I first went to New York and it was so harsh because, first of all, life is so fast. Before you find Kenyans, it becomes a bit hectic. Before you find a house in New York, it's so. Kwanza, they have this thing where you have to be like on a waiting list. And sometimes in New York, you'll find a house just before you get there. Two people have already seen it, so it's difficult to get the house. So that's why I was asking how you guys were able to do it, because I understand that in other states it's a bit easier. And so now, because we've been thinking about moving to another state, that's why I find your conversation very interesting, because then you're able to see that if you have survived New York and there are punitive requests,
Yeah.
then maybe a different state is going to be much easier to adapt to. So yeah, that is very helpful information. And also about the credit score, because then the question is, you have your bank accounts, you have a dollar account. How do you start building the credit score to the point where now it's like around 700, because the 700s are the good section. So it's good that you've also explained that. Yeah. Asante.
Karibu sana. And who was it who said this? Was it Jay-Z who said, if you survive in New York, you can survive anywhere else in the world. If you make it in New York, you can make it
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. So that statement still stands true. The thing that I'm doing is I will be creating a lot of content, especially around credit scores, because that's the one thing that I know most Kenyans struggle with when they come
Yeah.
to the US. And it is also part of my passion. I like talking about money. So credit scores is one of the places where if you get it right, you will wonder why people say, oh, things are so expensive here, when they truly are not. In your case, maybe you can explore some of the suburbs around New York
Yeah.
or even New Jersey and
New
see if
Jersey
that would be
especially.
if that can be an option, because I know New York, even the rents are just crazy. If we are mentioning 1500 can't even get you a studio in downtown New York. So
Yes.
you would need to be earning a lot more money than typically most of employment to do. So most people do places like New Jersey. You can be able to live there, and then now take, whether it's a metro or things like that, come into the city and panga yourself how you'll be able to get there. But if you're exploring somewhere else, you now look at, and there's someone who asked what made us choose ATL. So one of my biggest things was either go to a place that is completely white. That's one of the,
Yeah.
because of course all these things have their advantages and disadvantages, by the way. So if you go to an extremely white place, you may find the services there are better. If you go to, and like for me, I wanted a city. So it's
Yeah.
somewhere where all the services are there. And Atlanta is known as the place where the Black American billionaires are. So you'll be around wealth. You'll be around people who are in business doing a lot of huge things. And of course the environment that you're in influences the kind of person that you become. So if you go to a place that is Ushago and you go to a place that is farmland, quiet life, that's how you will be thinking because you're in that environment.
Yeah.
And everyone is different. In my case, I wanted somewhere that is a bit more fast paced. And I know Atlanta is also where I can pursue my creative journey. Yeah. So those are the things that I
Yeah.
was thinking about. And of course, Atlanta is also the home of Tyler Perry. And that's on my
For
bucket
sure.
list for 2027. Ni act kwa movie ya Tyler Perry. So those are things that if I live in Atlanta, that's easy to do an audition. There, it's like
Yeah.
30, 40 minutes from where I live. Yeah.
Oh, I also wanted to ask, now that you mentioned when you guys decided to go and get the car, you said you did a bit of research. So, like, what were the criteria that you used to determine the dealership that you would pick?
First of all, the agency that we're working with had given us two options.
Yeah.
And these two options were you can work with this company or this company. One of them is a credit union. So with that, what you're really deciding is which card do you want and can you be able to afford it. So when you're in Kenya tunafikirianga juu ya what do we think about Prado, or a Mercedes or a BMW. When you get here, you realize those are like 2-3 companies. There are 40 other manufacturers that exist.
Yeah.
Okay. And there is also the part of Americans love American manufacturers. So
Yeah.
now for you, it's deciding which car do you want. So one week I'm thinking, oh, this is the car that I want. And then tomorrow you see another one pass you, you're like, hey, okay, this is another one that I want.
Kwanza,
So
you
when
see
you
a
want,
Cadillac. You see a
yeah,
Cadillac and you realize you're in America.
hizi vitu tulikuwa tunaonea tu kwa movie. Now,
Imagine.
and
Yeah.
and this is the unlock that I think for many Kenyans would be really important. You can actually walk into a dealership and drive any car for road test. You can
Yeah.
drive any car that you ever dream of driving. Ingia tu seme, I like that one. I would like to do a test drive. Na si lazima ununue. It's not a must for you
Yeah.
to buy. But usikie uliingia ndani. Mumo aliingia ndani ya Range Rover yenye nilikuwa nikiomba Mungu naweza ingia ndani. Nikaidrive, nikasikia kumbe watu wenye wako ndani ya Range Rover hivi ndio wanafeel But at the same time, it shows you all these things are accessible to you. It's now, when you look at your income, what is my budget? What can I be able to afford? Because there are other things that you need to keep track of, apart from you've gotten your new car. So there are two options for people when they're getting a car. One is get a completely brand new car, which is a 2026 car. It's a bit more expensive, of course, because it's completely new. You can actually go and get a 2025 car and get it for half the price of a 2026 car. And still, it will be brand new. So now you're looking at mileage, you're looking at wear and tear, and wear and tear ya US is so different from wear and tear ya Kenya. It's so different. When they talk about car defects, you are zooming on the photo like this to see the scratch that they are mentioning as a defect on the car. So you can actually get a good deal, and here you are bargaining. You're like, guys, this one has a dent. Nani dent yenye ionekani, but it has a scratch here. So reduce for me by 1,500 or 2,000. And it depends with how you're negotiating. There it's like River Road now, where we negotiate. Someone tells you, I'm selling this thing for 2,000, now niko na 200. So you do that when you're negotiating in those places. But in choosing the dealerships, it's truly which car do you want? Because if we say, because I'm not saying the model we are getting, but if you get into a dealership for BMW, you can tell them, I want an X6 and I want to test it. So they have their test drive 2026. So you'll test drive in it. Do you like it? Do you like the drive in it? And now you now go and look at what trim do you want? What do you want a sunroof in it? Do you want this color interior? So you're cherry picking all of these things. Truly, it's about what you're comfortable in, what you want to be driving in. Because you'll spend your money on this car, get the car that you want. You can afford
Yeah.
it, get the car that you want.
Yeah.
Then now, when you're sitting down with them, it's all about how can I reduce how much money I am paying by the time we are done with this deal. Because there are so many promotions that exist, especially for newer cars. So you need to be aware there's a promotion by the manufacturer. There's also a dealer promotion that is going on. There could be a promotion for healthcare workers that is currently running. They, of course, they always have promotions for military. All those things are available, and you need to take advantage of them. So a dealer may tell you, we'll give you 1,500 off. And then now you tell them, okay, you've given me this. Then I've seen there's a promotion by BMW, which is $2,000 because they want these units to move. So that needs to be included there. There's also a promotion for healthcare workers, which may be $500. That needs to be put in. All these bonuses are making sure that your price is reducing. Then they may tell you, and this is something I saw, dealers like putting something called the gap insurance. Refuse that because your insurance already has under comprehensive, because they want to charge you and they tell you extended warranty. Toa hiyo kitu hautahitaji. Just tell them, no, I don't want any of the add-ons here. Because they may even tell you, we want to put for you PPF. You'll never need that thing in your life. Or you'll need extended warranty. You're taking a 6-year loan and the warranty for this car is for 5 years. You'll not need it because hii gari hata utakaa naye hizo miaka zote. So you don't need all of those things. There's a word called out of the door price. That's what you want. So with that out of the door price, that's what you now give to your lender. And in our case, the credit union already had given us a limit. So you don't now just go and look for the most expensive car. You look at what can you be able to afford, and now you pick that and you go to them, and you're able to get whichever car you want.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Also, last one. Let me ask. Because I heard you guys came with an agent. Does the agent ensure you have your work authorization, once you land, or do they just make sure you get your visas and then the rest is for you to find out for
They
yourself?
do all those things. So they're the ones who got us the work authorization from the first state. Once we landed, they were the ones now responsible as well for changing from the first state to the second one, where now we were actually supposed to work. So there's someone in their office who that is their specific work. So they just tell you, okay, we need you to do this, and then you do it on your end. Maybe it was uploading of a document or signing of something. If they need you, they now tell you to do that. But most of that they do themselves.
Oh, because I know my cousin has they've already gotten their license for Texas, but they would like to go to aliambiwa ni California. Aliambiwa California there's better rates. So in that case, should he come to Texas first, then California, or what would you recommend?
So right now they're in Kenya.
Yes.
I would tell them, let them go to Texas first,
Okay.
because this, you see, of all these are my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
Because with Texas, even though you may not be paid as much as California would be paying, but the rate on federal tax is much lower. So the amount of money you're making at the end of the month may match what is in Texas. So they need to do that math of look at the tax rate in California and look at the tax rate in Texas.
Okay. So afike kwanza in Texas, then they're gonna decide where else. Okay.
So that they just need to do the math. Hata kabla akuje, let them do the math. Because if the license they already have is for Texas, and after doing the math, they now want to change to go to California, they need to get a license for California. So they need to do those changes. Even if they haven't come yet, they need to do those changes so that it doesn't take a long time before they are able to work.
Yeah.
Because in Texas already, they may already have a job offer. So I'd say easy. Some of these things, it is much easier to be in the country now. You are able to make better informed decisions, because sometimes you may hear someone say, oh, this is a state where more money is being paid, but you have no inside knowledge on how exactly that person is making money, because they may be having a particular employer who pays really well, and you haven't gotten that deal with that particular person. And some of those jobs, it's the relationship that you have created, and so you get it by referral. It's not open advertisement that's out there.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now that you're doing business, do you have an LLC? Am I you starting first?
Yes, I already have one registered.
Yeah. Okay. All the best. Thank you for the
very much.
information.
You're welcome. Welcome, people. Tony Komen, thank you for joining. And thank you for that question. Those were good questions. And I know it's helping people. Studio may be 2,500 or so in NYC, I think. Sheila may confirm. Yeah. Okay. We're talking about rentals at that time. Jane Johnny, I hope you're still here. Hi, how are you? Pole, tulikuwa katikati ya story. Okay. Thank you, Sheila. And even for the braveness of coming up to ask questions, because most people are afraid of asking questions. But the questions help as many people as possible. As always, all the information I'm sharing is from my own research and from my own thoughts. You may find vitu kwa ground ni different. So be okay with that. All this is trying to help people, and at the same time, I did not have this while I was in Kenya. So I decided, I know there is someone who may not have this, so we provide it for them. And we are able to help as many people as possible. Okay? We help as many people as possible. The medic, Hapa tu kitu inaweza nisalimia ni gifts. Kitu inaweza nisalimia hapa ni gifts. Sawa the medic. Ile tu kitu inaweza nisalimia hapa ni gifts. Tony Komen, welcome. Hi, how are you my brother?
How are you, Momo?
Hey, unaendeleaje bana?
I'm doing quite well. How about you?
Mi niko viti.
It's nice hearing from you.
Mi niko hapa tunasaidia watu watoke kwenye maisha ya ukasongo wakuje hapa kwa Trump.
Wakuwe watu sasa, they can speak for themselves.
Yes.
True. I see what you're doing, man. Like, bless up, kabisa.
Asante sana friends.
Okay, I have a quick question I want to ask you.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm going outside the topic, but nataka kuuliza about because I know we're both in the creative field, so I'm gonna get a new Osmo 4P. And I want to ask, like, I really hope I'm not getting out of the topic for the other guys.
Endelea tu hapa tu kwa hii nyumba yangu mwenye ako na swali anauliza.
Okay. I want to get a 4P and I want to ask, like, what do you think about the whole the new one? It's just new, like it came recently. What do you think about that?
It's a good one to get. Actually, that's the DJI Osmo Pocket 4P. It's a brand new one that just came out in 2026. It's a great machine to use. It's a great machine to use. The only disadvantage is you need to use it to its full potential.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like usinunue tu just because it's a new thing. Use it to its fullest because it has amazing camera quality, first of all. And you're getting, it should be 8K quality. So if you shoot in 4K, you'll still be good. Then you're able to do vlogs with it. If you get the creator combo, you'll get the mic as well, the DJI Mic 3. So with that, you should never need to buy anything else to shoot with for like the next 3 years. Because it's an amazing camera.
Yeah, that's the angle I was really looking at. Because
Yeah.
like, I come from a film background, and I used to like have like really heavy gears like with the red cameras, but I really feel like a 4P would nimezoea the S7 S3 and all, but I really think I was just wondering like can the 4P like handle like my vlogs, because I really want to get into YouTube and everything.
It can and it does really well. So all you need to add to it is like a bigger tripod, just so that it is much higher, and then you can get a car mount for it. So if you're in the car, you can still be able to vlog. But basically, if you get the creator combo, you should be fine.
Thank you, and to all your viewers who are here, kama uko Canada, mi naitwa Tony, niko hapa. I'm open to, like, I'm in Toronto, so I know you guys are over in the US. Nakujanga huko Niagara and then naona tu US, but siwezi ingia. Yeah, so it's really nice hearing from you, and thank you, Momo, for just like putting me up. Like,
Anytime. So for the people who are here, Tony is studying, right? Tony, you're studying in Canada. And he went to Canada with a student visa, and he's helping people who are coming from Kenya to study in Canada. So, and I met him, by the way, on these same streets, like I didn't know him. So the reason I've accepted him to come up here is because the info I have found on his platform is actually really good. And I would advocate if you would follow him, if you have someone who's unable to come to the US, but Canada can be an option for them, is a good person to go and follow. Because sasa mimi unajua mimi siwezi bother na stories za Canada sana, even though I have looked at some info, but Tony would be a good person to go and follow.
Just a quick one. Anyone who's planning, like, kama uko na your siblings back home and they're just done with their degrees, because I didn't mean like I had my degree, but getting a job back home is really hard. And even just to the US ni somehow like more, I wouldn't say ngumu because it's a testimony, but I say like iko na a bit more process. So if somebody wants to get into uni, masters like what I'm doing, like, please niambie tu, alafu we can always like not charging anything or even just asking you anything. Like I can really help you from what I know.
Yeah. So, Miss Vest, thank you for following Tony. So that's precisely like for me, the community that I'm working on creating, and Tony, thank you for coming up. The community that we are creating is specifically to provide good information to people who are, especially in East Africa, and of course we start with Kenya, so that you can be able to find your opportunity wherever it is. Because yes, you can succeed in your country, and we are not saying you cannot succeed in Kenya. That's not what we are saying. We are just saying there could be better doors for you in another nation. That's just a reality. There are people who will never leave Kenya, but they will still be successful by their own standards and even by other people's standards, and they'll be very comfortable. But there are some opportunities that exist in other countries, and it doesn't reduce like what is going on in Kenya. We sat down and we looked at what kind of a life do we want to have, and we made our own personal decision. You will also do the same. You will sit down and say, this is what I want for myself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. And with that decision that you have made, now you will decide which country do you want to go to, or do you want to stay in Kenya. And all those are good decisions because it is yours to make. I cannot sit here and tell people, guys, do not go to this country. I'll not do that. Big M Pains. I inboxed your brother. You inboxed my brother, or you're saying you inboxed me? Because my brother, people do not know. My brother, people do not know my brother. You boxed me about marketing. That was about BNI, Big M. I have two brothers, but none of them is a content creator. And hakuna mahali nimewahi watag anywhere. Because of course it is like their lives are a bit more private than mine. Big M, I'm asking. No, Big M. You asked me about BNI. So what I did, I probably never replied to you, but I gave your details out to BNI. So they will call you. Because I'm not in Kenya. I saw you do paints and I saw you do paints and I asked for your details, which you sent, and I sent those details out to BNI. BNI looks like this. So I sent your details to the head office in Kenya, and they will be in touch to invite you to a chapter. So si ati nimekusahau, na saa zingine tu ni kukua busy. Unaona sasa, si ati nimekuwa celeb ama anything, but saa ingine naangalia message, nimeshaijibu kwa akili, ama nimeijibu by doing what exactly it is, but I probably didn't engage. It wasn't, sio kupenda kwangu, but I saw you do paints, and I know there's a chapter in Kenya which is looking for someone in paints, and you can do a lot of business with those people. So I hope they give you a call. But if you do not get a call by today's Thursday, if you do not get a call by Tuesday of next week, please let me know. Please let me know. Okay. No, okay. It's not overthinking, by the way. You should know. Yani, this social media life, followers have a lot of expectation of nimekufollow, so you need to help me here and here and here. And the truth is, 99% of my followers, they don't necessarily give me anything in terms of like pay. But what are the expectations? Like umeni DM, sisemi wewe, but a random follower and an EDM, and they expect that I will take care of their particular situation. Eh? Some of them think like you have connections at some embassies, or that if you DM me and you tell me you are broke, that I can be able to take you out of brokenness. You don't know my bank account. Some of us, it is the prayers of our parents that keep us alive. Otherwise, otherwise, kama si Yesu hatungekuwa hapa wengine wetu. And the good thing is, and this is something that I love God about this, God does not write your problems on your forehead. If God was to write my problems here, hata hamngekuwa mnanisikiliza. We live by the grace of God. But think about it, and this is completely out of topic, but think about it. I run 2 TikTok channels, okay? One is this one, which right now we are at 4,200 or something. Then I have another profile here, which is almost at 69,000. So imagine the DMs I get, like 5 a day or 6 a day combined. Sisemi ati watu 100 uniongelesha kila siku, sijafika hapo, because again I keep repeating this to everyone. I don't have money to take care of people, nor will I ever have money to take care of people. Okay? So the thing that I do and the work that I do is educating people so that you can see the resources that are in your hands. Because if I give you money today, even if I had money to give out, which I don't, if I had the money to give out, it would be wrong for me to give you money, because that is a handout. And that is the same problem that we currently have in Kenya, because people are depending on politicians to give us money, which is another topic for another day, which we shall not touch right now. But if I taught you how to be able to use the resources that you currently have, I've helped you more than someone who wants to give you 1,000 bob. I know there are content creators who they have made their live streams be about them giving 1,000 bob to their followers, and they can do that. But I know it is short-lived. I know it is not sustainable. And so because I know something is not sustainable, I don't engage in it completely. Because then, ile siku sitakuwa na do, alafu nikipea hata nani, huyo mwingine atasema, oh, na si ulipea nani, mbona sisi hautupei? Na siku hizi anaringa sana, unajua alipata followers ndio maana hatupei do siku hizi. So I never do it completely. From day one, I don't do it. And if you come to ask for money in my comments, I mute you. I just mute you. But what I do is very important. I teach you. Because if I teach you and you allow yourself, even if things are not right now, but you allow yourself to learn a few things here and there, you can actually change your situation. So that is one of the reasons why on this main profile here, today we are on day 14. 5 videos a day, and we are on a 30 days to financial freedom. So we've talked about how can you be able to use the salary that you have and at least put some money away. How many people here cannot save 100 shillings a week? 100 shillings a week. I'm not talking about a day, a week. And the idea behind that idea that I had about 100 shillings a week saving is that it now makes you get a new identity, because everyone keeps saying, oh, you know, I don't have enough money to save. Now, how do we start saving? I'm like, put aside 100 shillings a week. If you do that in your mind, you now become a saver. You know, I am a saver. It's not even about the 100 bob. It's about just removing that monkey in your head that is telling you you're not a saver. Oh, I don't have money to save. You know, that's what we typically say. But the truth is, 100 shillings, most of you, if not all of you who are here, you'll not miss 100 Kenya shillings. Because there are people here who that is a transaction cost. You paid it to Safaricom in a transaction you are doing today, and you didn't even notice that 100 shillings. But we have it backward that we save what is left. And the truth is, if you save what is left, nothing is ever left. So what I'm teaching on this profile, and if you're here and you're not following my main profile, I don't know how I can help you now. I don't know. Okay? So now what I'm teaching is you need to create an automation, especially if you're employed. This will be very easy. In the bank account where you've placed your bank, you can tell your bank that this amount of money, I want it deducted immediately. So you place a standing order that you want it deducted immediately, you get paid. So your money comes in like this, that automation triggers. And if you're in the US, it gets much easier. Because in your bank account, you can actually open, like I went to open an account at Capital One Bank, and they have a high yield savings account. So when money comes into my checking account, I've placed automation that there's a percentage, 5%, 10%, whatever percentage it is, doesn't really matter, by the way. But at least a percentage, when money gets into that account like this, immediately it automatically moves money into your saving account. And so I want that amount to get to a particular amount, and then now I'll move that now again to a money market fund or a Roth IRA, whatever it is. So I'm moving it further and further away from me so that I cannot touch it. Because if your money does not have a label, the easiest label for your money to get is spending. Spending is very easy. It's very easy to spend money. So now you need to look and see, instead of spending, I know that I'm getting 50,000 shillings. Let's use that example. I know I'm getting 50,000 shillings. But because I know I'm getting 50,000 shillings and I want to start saving, I can even start by saying, because I haven't adjusted to this, let me put 5% to savings. You know what 5% of 50,000 is? 2,500 shillings. That is your Fogo Gaucho lunch. Because we've just been paid, so let's go out. And you do pizza, and you do a movie, that's already 2,500 shillings. Some of you, even the cashew you've gotten, or you've gotten a handbag. You know, let me get a handbag. Let me get a handbag. You've already spent the 2,500. So what you do is, immediately, you get paid, immediately that 2,500 leaves, even before you see the balance. So your mind will start budgeting on what you see in the account. But money that has already left, you will not miss it. You'll not budget on it because it's already left. That's what we are teaching here. Okay? How much money did you pay at IOM? Mary, very good question. And it reminds me of a video that I need to do about vaccines. Did you get that list? You are to get me a list. Okay. Tony Coman! That's how I would look if I had a mustache. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. Kupea mwili pole. That is the reason why we cannot save. Because you tell your body sorry so many times. But then you still have an allowance of what you can spend for fun. Mary, I'll answer your question in a minute. You can also, as you do this, you need to budget. There is money for saving for future you, because I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, where no, it was actually today. I was talking about, and that's the video for, what time is it now? It's 11 p.m. That's the video from 7 p.m., if I'm not wrong. No, it's the earlier one. That was at 4 p.m., where I'm talking about Mr. Maritime. Mr. Maritime is the lesson that you need to save for your future. I'm talking about pensions. Okay? So you need to set money aside for your future self. That's what they mean when they say pay yourself first. You're not paying kupei mwili pole. I'm thinking Mumo will get to 70 years. When I'm 70 years old, I don't want my child taking care of me. I don't want for them to think I'm depending on them. I need to be sufficient, even though I may not be actively earning money. Why do you think we are doing this content thing? So that you have enough money that will be paying you passive income when you're old. You'll start eating that money. And then you budget now, of course, you have your fixed expenses, you have your variable expenses, and you have your fun account. So in your fun account, the problem for us is that our fun account, we never say, this is how much I'm putting there. So if you've said 5,000 for fun, you can do whatever it is you want. And it will be guilt-free because that's what it's for. Na ikiisha, imeisha. You don't go and touch it again. Completely, you don't go and touch it again. Or you come and pick money from other accounts to fund your fund. Your fund for the month is done, that's it. So you can distribute your fund and you upe mwili pole every weekend, but it is budgeted for. That's the idea. So how much money did we pay at IOM? Now, IOM is where you do your medicals. I don't know why the meaning of IOM is disappearing from my head. But before you go do the visa, you need to go and do medicals, okay? Which is done at IOM. So when you go to IOM, there are things that they're checking. They're checking whether you've done the vaccinations, all of them, and that they are all valid. And secondly, they're also checking whether you are healthy. Okay? So they're checking whether you're healthy. So in that case, we spent about 25,000 per person. International Organization for Migration. Dan, kwanza let me make you an admin here. Let me make you a moderator here. Ukiona tu mtu mwenye anaongea hapa vitu zenye si za maana, unatoa yeye. Umemake wewe admin. Where is Tony? Tony, have I made you an admin? A moderator? Let me make you a moderator. These are people that I trust with. Yes, so Tony, you are a moderator as well. So now, we paid about 25,000 per person. And this is in Kenya shillings. Of course, there is the dollar amount. It was around 180 or 190. But it also depends with your age. So there's an amount for the adults and there's an amount for the children. But it's around that amount. The thing that you're not sure of yet is the vaccines. Because vaccines nazo, you have to be aware which vaccines are needed. And typically, in the WhatsApp groups that you're in by your agency, people will be mentioning the vaccines that are needed. In our case, that happened, but what was more helpful for us was the place where we went, which is where my wife worked. When we went there was a gentleman who looked at that whole list, and he actually did a lot more advice on, you need this, you don't need this, you need this, you need this, you need this, because they state and say these are the vaccines that we want, and that list can change year on year. You never know. It's what the government wants you to be vaccinated for. So with that advice, we're able to take about 6 to 8 months to be ready for IOM. Because, for instance, the vaccination for Hep B is a 6-month one. Okay? So you do, and then after a month you do the second one, and then after 6 months you do the third one. So that one you need to have started a long time ago. So don't wait for the day when you'll be current for you to start thinking about vaccinations. Think about them early enough. And there'll be a video about this, because this was something we also saw. There are some vaccinations which you need to do within 30 days of your appointment at IOM. Okay? So that one you need to know. Hi, Daddy Blessing. Those ones you need to know which ones they are. Because if you do them earlier than the 30 days, you will need to do them again when you get to IOM. Because when you get to IOM, all those strips that you get from where you actually did the vaccinations from, they have the date of when you actually took them. So you need to be very calculated about it. And secondly, is it second or third? Whatever number it is, the cost of the vaccinations when you're doing it before IOM may be cheaper. Okay? And because you're doing it over a long period of time, and in this case I'm saying 6 months or 8 months, you will not feel the cost than if you came to IOM and you had to pay a whole bill of 200,000 or 300,000, because you're spending it all in one day. But if you're able to plan it well, and because again, if you're a family, then your kids are in school, so you do it on a day when, or a time when they're on holiday and things like that. So you plan them like that. So you'll find you've spent 10,000 here, you spend another 25,000 there, like that, depending on the vaccine. But now you attack them in batches. So you may find you've done 2 or 3 this time. Then you do another 2 or 3 here, like that, like that, like that. When you now do them in that way, you'll not feel a lot of stress on your finances, especially if you are paying cash for those vaccinations. At the same time, unaweza kuwa mjanja. You do it with your employer. So you're working most likely in a hospital. So you may find it is much cheaper, because you're a staff there, for people to get vaccinations at your employer. So you do that. But then at the same time, you're also looking at, don't spend too much, that if there is another issue on outpatient, you guys have no limit left. So in our case, what we did is we distributed over years. So we did some in 2025, and we knew by the end of the year inaenda kuisha, so you can use it in December, and then in January you can use a little more, like that. So you just have to be clear about it. Then there are some that you do at government offices, so you go and do it. We went to the airport for some of them. All these things you do, so that the time you show up at IOM, the only thing you're paying for is everything else apart from vaccinations. In fact, in our case, we only had 1 vaccination to do. And it's because we chose to do it. Otherwise, we could have taken that child to a serikali place, but we saw the difference was like 500 shillings. So we said it doesn't make sense to take them out of school 2 times. Actually, it would have been 3 times in their school term. So, because you take them out of school for IOM, you take them out of school for the visa interview. So would have done another day for them to go do the 1K vaccine. So we decided not to do that. That way you're able to also manage your expenses, because this visa journey, it's not cheap. It's worth it, but it's not cheap. So you have to be careful about how you're spending your money, because your other expenses, they are still running. You're still paying rent. You're still paying this. You're still paying school fees. You're still paying for food. And then now you have vaccinations, which is now a new cost. Of course, you're doing it once, but if you don't do it carefully, you will suffer during this period that you're doing the whole process. So I hope, Mary, that has helped you. And finding school abroad, did you transfer their credits? Good question. So now, Sheila, you're the one with the good questions. We should make you class monitor. Yeah? So now when it comes to school, and you will hear me say this very many times, we are lucky and we are blessed. We came here during summer break. So that means that we were not really stressed about they need to get schools now. Of course, schools have opened, and even in other states, they're about to open. We're getting into fall for children to go to school. One of the things that you will need for children, of course, is their vaccination records. You'll need their birth certificates. You need, of course, their passports. And you also need their transcripts from school. The school where they used to go to, this is something that they were providing at the end of the term. So I didn't need for anything else from them. I just took term 1 report that they sent to us, and that's what I attached. That was it. But now, because we went to the county school website, and we put in our details, put the children's website details, put where we live, and with that, they assign you the school. So the school calls you, tells you this is your student ID number, this is your kid's school ID number, and then now you take them to the school when school opens. It shouldn't be a long process. And then there is also financial assistance for the children. So kids here get food in school, breakfast and lunch, which you need to pay for as a parent. And if you're unable to afford, you apply for assistance. So you're able to pay less or it is free. Yani watoto wanaweza soma na wanasoma free na wanakula. Kenya bana, yani hiyo school fees bill ilikuwa imenikalia hapa. Mwaikaliwa na mtu hapa chini ya kisogo hapa. Hapo ndio school fees ilikuwa. That's where school fees was. Just here. And when you're walking, you're just walking like this. Apart from the fee bill, vaccination, and is there anything I'm going to pay? That's basically it. So now the difference for you, Mary, the difference is, are there any vaccinations that they will tell you have to do then? That's the only difference. But if you have a family of 5, I would put aside between 250 and 300. Just put it aside. I'm not saying you're going to spend 250 to 300. Are we together? Because it is you, your spouse, and okay, it is you and 5 dependents. So that is around 125 to 130 just on the application fee. And then now the balance is, suppose there is any vaccinations that haven't been done, and it can be any of those people. So you'll find a 3K here, 4K here. If there are many, then the amount goes up, and you'd rather have the money available there and not use it than need it and not have it. Twehamwe. I hope twehamwe. How? We are together. Yes. And the process is very simple and it's very straightforward. Mary, it's very straightforward. So if you've done your vaccinations well from that list, I will try and get the list so that I do that video. But once you have that list and you've done all of them, then when you get there, you may just find, because you may find someone who says, we did not want that brand, we wanted this brand, but it's the same medicine. So if you get there and someone tells you, Apana, you need to have done this, and it is 3,000, you just do. What? Ni dawa tu, iko kwa mwili, you just do. But at least the bill is not high. Because you may find at IOM, it is 2-3 times. It may be 2-3 times what you'd have paid at a government hospital. So you have to be mjanjes early enough and do everything. Like for us, that was really important. Every time when we were talking about vaccinations, we were talking about, okay, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. What haven't we done? When are we going to do it? And also thinking about that, okay, this one is said that it needs to be done within 30 days. So those ones, we put them aside. And once we knew this is the date that we are going to IOM, we now set like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before that. That's the date that you'll be available, I'll be available, and we go and do that one. So that the dates that are showing up there are 2 weeks to the Nini, so it's within the 1 month. And so you'll not have any issues. So you just need to be clear about your plan towards it. Because none of these things is an emergency. So you can't come up. If you go to IOM with an empty one, my friend, what's the HEP one that needs 6 months? So you'll be told, you can't proceed. So you have to finish these things. So now, Sheila, back to you with the school. Once you are assigned to the school, there's a day that parents typically come before school opens, where you now see where your kid will be going to school. So you go to the school. We went both the elementary school and the what is it called? The middle school. We saw the school. And you're able to see, okay, this is where their classes will be. This is where they will be sitting, especially for the younger one. This is where she'll be sitting and things like that. And now at least you know where they go to school. And now after that, of course, there's an app for the buses, which tells you this is the time when your kid is, like, the bus is here. The bus is here. So you're aware of what's going on. And then every single day, let me check if today we've received an email. Every single day there's something that's happened in school. you get aware. So even by the time your kids are coming home to tell you, oh, this is what happened in school, you're already aware, because the school keeps you aware of this is what was happening. And they'll always call you if your kid was involved. So you are aware of what exactly was going on. I'm just refreshing my mail to see if we have been told something. Yeah, we've just been told something. That happened in school. So I'm aware of what's going on in school. Yeah? So this is just an invitation to an event. So my kid can come home and be like, Daddy, we were told about this event. I'm like, yeah, I know. And then what was, yeah. CK, yes, systems work. And if you're someone who's diligent and hardworking, there's no reason why you wouldn't become rich in this country. Because systems work. And they don't really care about who you are or who you know. Systems just work. In fact, one of the schools was asking us, do you guys know people, because we need this additional number of students so that we can get what is actually allocated for us to get. And they keep us updated. They're like, they were saying they need 6 more students in the school. Then 2 days later, they tell us, thank you, parents, we now have 3 more students that we need. They get the 3 more students, they are okay. Like they've been told, these are the number of students that you need in your school so that you can get the allocation of money that has been allocated for the school, and your children are fed in the school and they are picked. Bana. Yani, in Kenya, you have to pay for the school bus, you also have to pay school fees, and you also, Mariana, all is well. We're just thanking God. All is well. And you can actually build and succeed. Hapa hauhitaji Godfather, hauhitaji sijui to know who. You can actually just chart your way and make it. Of course, relationships are important wherever it is that you go to, but especially for people who just want to follow the right path, you're in a good environment. Things just work. And I don't even want to go into traffic lights and speed limits and speed cameras. Of course, there's another issue with surveillance cameras that's currently going on in the US, but I don't even want to get into that because it's a bit political. Don't get into that. But speed cameras work, speed limits work, lane discipline works. If someone tells you it will take me 20 minutes to get to where you are, it will take them 20 minutes to get to where you are. Kwanza 20 minutes ni mtu mwenye ame travel 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers. CBD to Thika is how long? How far? 20 minutes. Unaingia tu kwa highway unapiga 65 miles an hour, that's almost 80 ama ni 90. Not just ni miles, you don't feel the speed that you're going at. Boche niangalia hapa. Tuko hapa tunapiga hii mahesabu miles mph to kph. Oh, aya. So tukidrive hapa 65, woi, ni 104. Highway here is 65. So hiyo ni 104. So mtu akikwambia I'm 20 kilometers away, 20 miles away, unaingia tu kwa highway unapiga 65. lakini barabara iko sawa, na kama haiko sawa inatengenezwa, and there is even like you are alerted early enough. Pale 3 miles away kuna construction going on, na ukifika hapo hiyo 3 miles away you will find construction going on. You're on your Google Maps and you're told there is police there 3 miles away. Ukifika hapo unaona police na wiwi yake hapo, it is there. But one of the things that really fascinated me about the highways here is the extra lane for emergency vehicles and police, called the shoulder lane. That one is a very simple fix that we can have in Kenya. Ikuwe ni lane yenye, it's on the complete outside and nobody else uses it apart from police and ambulances and fire. And if you're found there, you pay a fine, and the fine is made expensive so that nobody ever goes there. You're told if you use that lane, you pay 50,000 shillings. If you're not an emergency vehicle. And politicians will charge you if they try to use that lane. Politicians soon shida hapa. But that shoulder lane is really important, and you can see why it is important, especially when you're in a place like this, because an ambulance will just go whoo, reach the person it needs to reach and come back and take that person to hospital. But then ambulance ikikuwa hapo, what's it called, on Juja Road, inashinda tu wiu, 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 wiu. And people are not making way for it, and when they do, there are like 5 other vehicles behind that ambulance trying to go behind it, which is illegal. So systems are just working completely. Amazing. Okay. Cool. See you guys. Take care. Hey, today we've been live for so long. Thank you so much for being with me. Everyone who has been here, my gifters, my commenters, my followers, thank you so much. And may you take care. You have an amazing night. And we shall see you tomorrow. God bless.